Yahoo! We go!
Hell yeah.
La la la. But it's a me, Mario.
Yeah, tell it to the judge. He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smig. Hey.
Of course, this little barbershop is actually on the back of a giant armored space spider roaming through space or something on a web of something, made of something, doing something for some reason that we'll never really understand because the writing in this episode falls apart almost from this point to the end. So they're on the back of the giant galactic story-powered spider engine. Hello, this is Sanity. Can you hear me over there in La La Land, in Goo Goo Gaga world of absolute mumbo jumbo nonsense bullshit? Have you had enough fun riding the mysterious space spider robot on the back of which is a fucking barbershop, an African barbershop from a ghetto in Lagos? I thought I jumped the shark last week. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me with this? You fucking what?
This is a journo rat felting emergency appeal. Every day, video game journalists like Alyssa Mercante are suffering from a mind virus called YouTuber derangement syndrome. The symptoms include intense narcissism, smugness, bizarrely inflated sense of self-importance, and above all else, an obsession with how much money YouTubers make. Particularly when they make that money covering journalists with this affliction. A little money can make all the difference to curing this terrible affliction, so please, donate anything you can, $2, $5, channel memberships, a $50 super sticker, to your nearest YouTuber. And help the spying, snitching, journo trash learn once and for all that they are irrelevant maniacs who you wouldn't piss on if they were on fire. Thank you.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand, perhaps, what I'm trying to imply here.
That's very patronizing.
Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from London about Palestine.
Stepping time!
Palestine.
Stepping time!
Palestine.
Stepping time! Come on, mighty!
Palestine.
Stepping time!
Palestine.
Never need a reason, never need a rhyme, stepping time!
Palestine.
Get your knees up!
Palestine. Palestine.
Never need a reason, never need a rhyme, get your knees up!
Palestine.
If you're violating YouTube's terms of service, you're gonna get penalized. Cry me a mother river.
Cry me a river, I'm crashing like a blimp. The only people doing this are me and all my simps. I'm twerking in the chair, that's how I know I'm sick. Now visit me in jail and tell me I'm a fucking dick.
He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smig. Hey.
Done with the laws, we're all legends. 12 who got it communist. Fuck that cult.
Huzzah.
Yes. Just a simple yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again. Yes. Woo! Woo!
Indeed.
Yes, woo indeed. Woo. You know it. Zack Ryder reference there. Ladies and gentlemen, and nothing in between. Yo. It's WTF Live. That's right. Mother lickers. It's time to take out the trash and clean up all the latest and not so great. Yeah, review, and we're going to review Red Dwarf. That's what we're going to do. We're going to review Red Dwarf. Because I realized that we're not actually going to do the thing that I was mostly talking about us doing. We'll talk a bit about Doctor Who. We'll talk a bit about it. A little bit. We'll also talk a little bit about the game project that's going on. But mostly we are here tonight to review some Red Smeggin Dwarf. There we go. There it is. All right. Okay. Yes, you are watching Will of the Fans. My name's Will. I know, right? What an amazing coincidence. And today we have got tons to talk about. Lots of Red Dwarf, including some of last week's Red Dwarf, which we didn't have time to talk about because we did too much wanking around with news. So
it was a great time though, nonetheless.
It was a great time. It's always a great time on this show.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean that video or that game show concept that we came up with though, that was quite inspired.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen on here. We're a bit fast and loose with the rules of structured podcasting, so we are in fact just going to sit here and talk shit for 2-ish, maybe longer. Hours.
There was a lot of shit talk specifically within that concept too.
There certainly was. Throw them in, throw the ball, dunk them in the shit. You know it. That's still the absolute apex of ideas, and it must be done. So we are
should
here.
Include that in the game design idea.
Oh
somewhere.
God, yes, I can do anything I want.
The power.
But yeah, no, I actually
right.
can't.
Give him ideas. Give him more ideas.
I mean, literally, I'm trying to get everybody to come onto Discord and give me ideas, but so far, literally no one has bothered, even though they were all throwing ideas at me in the chat. Like I had time to read them all.
Right. I'm going to chalk that too as a holiday weekend because getting a hold of anybody yesterday was not easy for
of course.
Yeah. So yeah.
By the way, happy Treason Day, America. Sorry. No, you know what? I will repent and revoke the statement of Treason Day this year because, frankly, I'd rather be American than British.
Indeed.
These days. My country is a complete shit show. It's willfully running headlong into the brick wall of communist, dystopia. And all we really need is a Donald Trump, which just doesn't seem to be something that the UK is able to create. Apart
I was going to say, I think you guys are committing your treason on your own property these days more so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the fucking king as well. What a prick. Anyway, yeah. So go America. Fuck yeah. Coming again to save the motherfucking day. Love it. Enjoy your days. If it's still the 4th somewhere in the world, I don't think it is. I think it's like the 6th now. So
I think we're finally moved through all the time zones. So yeah,
there was a bit of an awkward one with the Trump speech as well at the White House. There was like loads of audio issues and stuff as well that I noticed. But I felt like, did they hire exclusively communists to preside over that, like the tech side of that speech, so they would fuck up constantly? I don't know. Something didn't seem right about it. In any case, whatever. Happy 249th birthday, America. We'll all be looking forward to your 250th next year. You little kid of a country, you. And that's about it. So there we go. Anyway, with that aside, yeah, we have a load of things to talk about. We're going to get into all of them. But of course, as always, I'm joined by Problematic White Guy John. And as it is Sunday, we're also joined by Disgusting aka Hell Zoe. Let's start with John. What's up, bro?
Not too much. Hopefully I'm looking a little bit younger today. I went out and bought myself a new beard trimmer yesterday. I kind of figured, using one that kept dying every 15 minutes of use for the course of the last 2 years. I was just finally like, I'm just gonna take care of this.
The problem
And
is
so,
your
yeah.
face is so bleached, no one could possibly tell.
Yeah, I know. Right. Well, I mean, we were talking about that before the show began. It's because of StreamYard, and when you're using other people's setups, for whatever reason, it's got a white background, and so yeah, like
just get it off your screen. Do something else.
I mean, I could put it all the way down over here, but then like I just wouldn't be able to respond to any kind of visual cues or anything like that. So, I mean, so damned if you do, damned if you don't. It is what it is.
Sucks to be you, my friend. Sucks to be you.
I don't really care, Margaret.
Indeed, but yeah, otherwise everything's pretty great, I guess. Awesome as always, as I say, I guess. Yeah, that said, I don't know what's going on with you, Hellzo.
Yeah, pass the buck immediately. Yeah, smart move.
I don't know about looking younger, but I am being refreshed back in the studio with the band, rehearsing after a month hiatus, or
that's nice.
More than a month. And actually, we have the new drummer in the chat, who's also my mod, and we have a new guitarist. Everything went well for the first rehearsal. We haven't the drummer hasn't played with us in 6 years, and the guitarist has never played with us. So all in all, everything.
I'm so glad you said with us. For a minute, I thought you had like some kind of savant where like they've never played, they just picked it up and were amazing.
No.
Like Dewey Cox. Yeah.
I've seen a person like that in my life, by the way. I have met a person like that, and it was the weirdest experience ever.
I've seen an autistic kid do dueling banjos with a professional banjo player and pick it up with such alarming speed that it actually becomes a duel at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Like I've because I used to carry my acoustic guitar when I went out of parks to drink beer with friends, and I would play. And there was this guy there who was a drunk.
Sorry, you're officially a douche.
No, it's normal here. It's what trashy metalheads used to do.
I go and sit in the park and drink beer with the local students with my guitar in my back, man.
Yeah, but instead I didn't have money.
I mean, just tell me you weren't playing Oasis songs.
Never.
Because
Never.
Right.
Fuck, on behalf of
I have instructed several people to bash me on the head if I ever do that, and I'm not even kidding. That would mean I'm being kidnapped and someone's replacing me.
You should try living in the fucking Philippines, man. They only know the top 40 from the last sort of 50 years, 60 years, Beatles to now. So like they only know one Oasis song, and of course it's fucking Wonderwall.
Oh, of course.
There's so many better songs. That bad bit. They're not the greatest band ever, but that's fuck, that pissed me off, man.
No, that song is cursed. But yeah, other than that, just streaming and making videos. That's it. And
Nice.
back to 10th Grail. Beat Stellar fucking Blade. It was stellar. Yo, no, come on. I'm not that old. No, I used to do that when I was a teenager. So I was a douchey teenager.
I had a friend just like you. He used to carry his guitar with him everywhere he went, and we all used to try and steal it from him and hide it in the bushes and stuff so he would stop playing because we didn't want to hear.
Oh, he was that good. He was that good. He
was all right, but we were just so fucking tired of it. You know, it's like there's only so many times you can play Time of Your Life or
God.
You know, like
I hope he at least got laid off of it.
He's the gay friend I'm always talking about.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Like, so he was actually just doing it because he legitimately wanted people to hear these songs. Like, it's like, I can at least forgive if you're like, I'm going to get so much puss. I'm going to crush ass. Like,
I mean, he
got something.
He was bisexual, so, you know.
Okay.
But what I can say is that he is pretty legit when it comes to music. He asked me for some piano lessons, and I gave like 10 lessons to him or something, and he bought a piano and he's got pretty good at it. So there you go.
That's respectable.
Yeah. And yes, he gets laid on the reg, as far as I'm aware, just not in the way that you or I might choose, you know.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Just fine. Leaves more women free.
Hey, whatever, man. Like, live your life. It's okay. I don't care. He's a great dude. But yeah, we used to fucking hate that guitar, man. We wanted to fucking burn that thing. But like, and as me as well, I'm like a classically trained pianist. I'm sitting there, my dad's a guitarist, there's all this stuff, and then I'm sitting there listening to fucking Wonderwall in the park, and I'm like, man, I am too stoned to listen to this fucking song again.
Right.
Everyone's playing fucking Boulevard of Broken Dreams and When September Ends and all that.
That's why
I'm scared, man.
I actively refuse to learn songs and just do those are the reason I actively refuse to learn and play. Like
I know, and like the acoustic version of Layla and stuff like, fuck God's sake, and then then what happens? Like some 15-year-old comes over and is like, hey, can I play with that? And then they roll out an acoustic version of Smells Like Teen Spirit. You just want to kill yourself. It's too much, It's too much. But there you go.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I weep.
Yeah. I did too. Anyway, there you go. That was a nice little aside. Welcome to the show where anything can happen and no topic is off the table, apparently. So we are here, and it's nice to see both John and, of course, Helzos. Welcome to the chat as well. Hello to the mods. And, of course, if you've got something you want to tell us, something you want to suggest, or you just want to have an argument with us, kindly tape your comment to some money and throw it through the wall, and I'll try to get to it when my concussion eases off. In the meantime, you can also join the GRIFT force. We would very much appreciate a few more members around here. There's emojis up for grabs. I'm going to be trying to add some more of them. We have 2 in the tank already, so next week I'll be adding another one. But yeah, join the GRIFT force. And of course, we already have one. It's from the legend himself. Behold, he is among us. MagesGuild for $10. Well, you know what's up.
Drop it.
Yeah. Maybe. It says IDR. I don't recall. I guess.
Yeah.
Where I saw it, it might have been the Mary Sue, where a writer commented that Doctor Who failed because Ncuti Gatwa was too masculine.
Nope. What? That has never been.
What the f***? Why are you running?
No! God, please, no! No! No!
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
The only thing that Ncuti Gatwa's ever had in him, the only masculine bone that has ever been in Ncuti Gatwa was someone else's.
Yeah.
He was bent over while taking it.
Void of any actual bones. Yeah.
This is the cuckoo land, apparently.
That's horseshit. I feel like I've definitely seen that as well, because the story that I was that we're going to talk about a little bit in a minute, well, after the first bit, was, I thought when I found the article, I thought it's going to be about that, so I was sure, like, oh, we're going to talk about how Gat was too masculine. I've definitely heard some dickhead, some unbelievable knobhead say that, and that's just the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, Ncuti Gatwa and masculine,
never in his life.
Those two don't work together.
No, I mean, the guy is the walking embodiment of the antithesis of masculinity. He is the most effeminate Doctor by miles. He's the one of the most effeminate gay dudes I've ever met.
Yeah, he makes a lot of women seem masculine in comparison.
Right. Like, imagine Cult Classic Cage in a fight with Ncuti Gatwa.
Oh, my money's completely on Cassie.
Yes, you break his fucking jaw in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just pathetic. There's no masculinity about that guy at all. And it's too late now, because this is the same thing we're dealing with like Pedro Pascal and people like that, where it's like
Yeah.
Hollywood's going, this is this new sensitive breed of man, and it's like, guys, hello, we all did the metrosexual thing. Well, we didn't all do it. I definitely didn't do it, but we all acknowledged that it existed 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And
that's
where it
how
should
long
have been
ago.
left.
Yeah, and when it comes to people like Pedro and also Gatwa, this idea that they're in any way masculine is completely insane. Like masculinity is you know,
Masculinity requires testosterone.
A right
Something.
bastard who makes decisions, who is ready for the outcomes of them.
Yeah.
And might feel like a bit of a cuddle cow later for it, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to live with what you've done. You take responsibility for the things you've done. You get on with your life and you fucking rock on and protect the ones you love. That's being a man. There's nothing about that when it comes to Gatwa and also Pedro Pascal as well, because he drives me fucking up the wall. This idea, and also with both of them, their personas are entirely fake. With Gatwa, it's pretty much one way. With Pascal, it's the opposite, where he's like this sort of mild-mannered guy who holds women's hands because he gets anxious in front of interviewers. Absolutely fucking not. You pieces of shit. Don't try to lie your way out of this Hollywood. Fuck you. And fuck you, Gatwa, too. Because it's just there's no masculinity at all. These are the people they want to present as role models for boys. And I find that disgusting because and it has worked, unfortunately, because metrosexuality was 20 years ago. We're all looking at people like David Beckham and his fucking sarong. And now what do we have? A bunch of mincing wankers, a bunch of HR boys. They haven't got a fucking clue what the hell they're doing with their lives. At some point, guys, boys, men, young lads, at some point, the world will expect you to fucking know something. And if you can't, well, the rest of us will have to do it for you. And you'll never go anywhere. Enjoy your slow descent into madness and, self-destruction.
Yeah, ultimately, these things are gonna crumble. By the way, like whatever they do, it's gonna crumble because at the very end, you are going to need real men and people who actually know how to do shit and actually who have the mental capacity. And by mental capacity, I mean that we might not be the most healthy-minded people, but that at least we can withstand the shits that have been thrown at life at us. We have that mental fortitude to do that. Yeah, we do have some, let's say, scars, but we can deal with them because we're not fucking pussies in male clothing that are walking around, shaving every single hair of them and trying more makeup than most female models on a whorehouse. And basically, at the end, it's still gonna go down, and it's gonna come down to real men. It's just a matter of time.
And these are men that aren't defined by the appearance that they put out into the world by any stretch of the imagination. For example, I'm a relatively sensitive dude, I guess. I'm pretty much in touch with my emotions, my feelings and stuff. I shed a couple of tears this week because my kid is in the icy fucking U, and I'd call that a pretty good reason to do so. And had to deal with the emotional turmoil of all that. But when the time came that decisions need to be made and people need to be told enough is enough, I'm not doing this. I'm not going that way. I'm not taking my family in this direction. You have to do it. And you may not even want to. You might even find that it's not a persona you find yourself comfortable with, especially if you grew up in the 2000s when metrosexuality was being pumped into every fucking orifice you could fucking open to the information hyper way. But at the end of the day, at a certain point, the world expects you to be able to do things, know things, and be a man of action. And if you can't do that, you ain't masculine.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to convince other people that it's masculine to cry, to be an emotional wreck, to admit when you're overwhelmed by a situation, you have no fucking clue what masculinity is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's sooner to be appreciated for you to appreciate your mistakes and your flaws and errors after the fact than it is to sit there and just be like, oh, I'm not going to do anything to offend anyone. Like that.
Yeah, I've said this before, and I got this from a funny little book that I've got. I can't find it right now. I thought it was in the room, but it's not. It's called The Retrosexual Manual, and it's a joke. It's a parody book, but it actually, I read it last year, and I was like, holy fuck, this is like the Oracle predicting the future. It was having a go at exactly the kind of things that I was just having a go at, and the line that I always use, what a woman wants in a man. Does she want a guy who's as sensitive as she is, who falls apart and melts under the most lightweight of pressures? Does she want a man who spends more time in the bathroom than she does, who has more tubes of ointments and lotions in the bathroom than she does? Fuck no. A woman wants a random decision-making machine that she can blame when things don't go the way you want them to.
Yeah.
And that came straight out of that book. It's a great book. It's a hilarious book. But yeah, MagesGuild, absolutely fuck the idea that Shooty Gawa is in any way masculine. I definitely saw that, and it wasn't the Babylon Bee, because he says that's the sort of line I'd expect from the Babylon Bee, but it wasn't. And he's, yeah, absolute insanity. Thank you very much for your $10, mate. Appreciate you. And we'll crack on. Yeah. That wasn't the right sound. We'll get to the right one later. Garrett Griffin for $5 says, I recall sensitive male jazz. There's no such thing. Jazz is about balls, mate. Jazz is real jazz. You listen to some fucking Dixieland, some New Orleans Dixieland fucking jazz, and not just like the real, like the cliched shit, like when the Saints go marching in and stuff. Like the stuff that's got some guts to it, like your Ellingtons, your Alex Welsh bands, and things like that, where it's like, ain't nothing new under the sun. He says, yes, that's what they were trying to market in the 80s. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, it was about blowing your fucking trumpet till your face nearly exploded.
Yeah, I really like doom jazz myself. It's a European band. I'll have to play it for you sometime. Yeah, I mean, it's like
I could talk for 40
dark.
years about jazz if I had to.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get off this road before I start, because it will be another massive 10-minute tirade.
Right.
But jazz is fucked, mate. And if you want jazz, go find the Great British Jazz Band. There you go. Anyway, thank you very much for the fun. He's back. MagesGuild again for another $5. Thank you. Trying to fill up that bar. Would appreciate the bar being filled. Got a lot of bills to pay. Not satisfied of our collective dying from cringe. These people want us to all die from minge. I tried that for quite a while. Yeah. Turns out there's a superstition in the Philippines that if you have two girls in a row, you must have been someone who really appreciated minge, because you've now started creating them.
Oh well.
I mean, it's not wrong. I was a bit of a man whore. Yeah, when I was a young guy. So they want us all to die from minge. I have tried that. It didn't work. I survived. But anyway, everything has to be a lesbian role. I know that's not what he means, of course, but it just made me laugh because I was thinking about like trying to die from minge. It's just like the male version of Bonnie Blue.
That's right.
She's trying to die from cock. That girl wants to die impaled on penises for sure. Like she wants to be made airtight, that chick, you know? So the male equivalent would be dying of minge. But what he means, of course, is that everything has to be a lesbian-ruled world for them. Yeah. It's hilarious on multiple levels that anyone thinks lesbians are capable of managing anything. Like,
I mean, they manage U-Haul reservations.
Right, exactly. That's it. Yeah. They can't even manage a relationship. They can't.
Oh, yeah.
The average, what's the average like I've got a friend who was like one of my oldest friends I went to school with, and she grew up and decided she was a lesbian, and her last like 4 girlfriends have been women who are, well, no, it's kind of funny actually, because she was like 20 odd when I was the same age, and she's dating women in their 40s. Now we're both 40, so I'd be interested to see who she's dating now, because she's probably dating 20-year-olds.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it just goes on like that, because no one ever stays together. Lesbians don't stay together. They don't mate for life.
Yeah,
the longest relationship I've seen is 2 years, and it's one I help facilitate.
I mean, I know gay couples, dude, gay couples that have been together for like 20 years, 10 years, 40 years, died, like consider themselves each other's widowers, and stuff like that. But lesbians, nah. Yeah, it's got like a really short expiry date.
Yeah, one of the best things I've heard in recent weeks is like, there's no such thing really as lesbians because their sex toys don't look like vaginas.
Oh, very true.
That's brilliant. That's
also when the male robots come from Japan, the good ones. The male sex robots will see exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's just women who are afraid of fucking men. That's it. I will be afraid of men.
I don't think it's fear. It's more like bad experience. Like, because admittedly they're having bad experience, and admittedly, like when you have, let's say, someone extremely unpleasant in every sense of the way, constantly hitting on you or something like that, it might leave a general mark. At least that's what I've been told from lesbians in the past.
I mean,
I gave up. One girl said, I gave up on men because they're all absolutely disgusting pigs, and she saw that to me saying, not you though.
Dude,
but
if
everyone
you're getting hit on by being traumatized, you evidently don't know how to take a compliment. Like, I mean, I've been hit on by plenty of women in my life, still sliding in my DMs all the time, and like, and even some random dudes where I'm just like, appreciated, but no. But yeah, like I've never been offended by like, being hit on. Like that's just.
Right.
Well, if you were a sensitive man, you would have been. If you have been a modern macho man.
Right. I suppose.
The funny thing is, even lesbians don't like them.
Oh yeah.
They try to dominate them, but I've converted a couple of lesbians, and it's not very difficult because they're not really doing it for any actual reason that they can understand.
Yeah,
that's why.
Can I refer back to the sex toy comment?
Exactly. Their heart's not in it, and then if they were really lesbians, then they would be using fleshlights.
Yeah,
except they can't. They'd be licking fleshlights. Ugh. That sounds disgusting.
That's the last thing anybody should do.
Yeah.
Especially second-hand ones.
Disgusting. Oh my God.
Slightly used fleshlight, 30% off.
It's true though, isn't it? They don't use like random. There's no like lesbian dildo that doesn't look like a cock.
Right.
There's
all of them at
just dick-shaped dildos. Yeah.
Yeah. Dick-shaped dildos and strap-ons. Yeah.
That's how you know that these people don't occur in nature. My mom was right when she told me like years ago when they isolated the gay gene and only in males of all species of animal, or at least enough that they could be reasonably sure that all species of animal eventually produce a gay male. But lesbians, no, not a single instance in any species in the world except humans, which suggests to me that it's a mental illness.
It's a social disorder.
Yeah.
Contagion.
There you go. Sorry, lesbians. No disrespect, but you're nuts. Anyway, there you go. Garrett Griffin for 5 says, clarification, I was using jazz in the 50s slang sense for stuff. I see.
Indeed. But yeah, the name of that band, if anybody is so interested, is Borin and Der Club of Gore. Quite good.
Super.
Definitely recommend.
MagesGuild is back. He is back again. Says, I used that line for the power of many episode of the Acolyte. I died of minge was my subheading. Lesbians could never have a communist paradise. Lesbians can't have paradise because all they know how to do is beat each other up. That's literally it. That's all they know how to do. They all they know how to do is scissor, eat pussy, and beat each other up.
Yeah. I mean, they might beat each other off from time to time as well, but
that's for the modern ones.
Can you beat off a woman? Does that?
I mean, you can finger blast them, you know,
like really hard, so it's like a beating.
Yeah, give him the shocker, you know.
2 in the pink, 1 in the pink. 2 in the goo, 1 in the poo.
As long as it's not the
shocker, stalker, showstopper.
Owen.
That's right. Owen, indeed, yes.
And with this flagrant,
and then she says, "Play me like Elmo."
Oh, God damn, son.
Some of them win a little bit of applause. That's when you've gone too far, though.
Clapping.
God. Jesus Christ.
What is this show anymore?
Hi, guys.
The best thing ever.
Games.
Good night, everybody.
Red Dwarf. But first, here's 35 minutes of talking about lesbians and gays and fucking
so far
guitars.
Welcome to White Time, friends, everyone.
You love it. Come on.
Indeed.
All right. Anyway, MagesGuild for another $5 says editing videos of lesbian prom was more disturbing than the midget clowns that I got stuck in a contract editing.
I'm sorry, what?
I've seen some midget boxing. That shit's fucking hilarious. Because they're like they're not all midgets are created equal. Okay. So to qualify, you might have like normal length arms on a super short body, and then the other guy's got like T-Rex arms on a slightly taller body, but the guy with the longest reach is gonna knock the other guy, and when he goes down, he's not gonna go down, he's gonna go flying because that shit is fucking great. There's some fucking clips I can share with you guys. Can't show them on here though. Fuck me, what a fucking time I had watching midget boxing.
All the more reason to stop by early for the Saturday night Discord watch-alongs. Maybe we'll do.
You never know what's going to come up. Anyway, He says, I'd have owned a dog that was lesbian. You have owned a dog that was lesbian? Are you, really? So what did it do? Yeah. You're gonna have to tell us what it did.
Get a side shave, like on the side.
I want significantly more detail.
That's right.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about. Well, I'm sure we'll catch up. We'll catch up. If you super chat us again about your lesbian dog, I will stop everything and read it. But we have to move on. We're going to talk a little bit about the RPG Maker project that's going on at the moment. So this is something people have been asking me to do for a while now. We were talking for a little while about making a game, and well, this week's been completely crazy for me. Obviously, a lot of you probably know that my newborn, who was born on Monday, as I predicted last week, was unfortunately put in the NICU with neonatal pneumonia, and has been having a lot of breathing trouble. She's doing better. She's doing a lot better now. She's actually outperforming expectations left, right, and center. So, things are getting better. It's cost me an arm and a leg, though. Like, it's cost me fucking like half my savings to get her through this. And it's been a rough week. So I wasn't really feeling like entertaining a game at this point. But what I did think of was lots of things I could do if I had a bit of creativity. So we decided to go ahead and create. We did a stream the other day. John joined as well. We did this thing and we were going to call it GRIFT Quest, which is just a working title, of course. But it's funny because the idea would be you're going to have a few of us as characters in the game. And if I get my way, you'll be able to make your own character to play the game. But this is a lot of work from where I'm at right now because I don't want to use the inbuilt sprites because they're chibi and they're cringe. So I started using Suikoden sprites, and so what I've created right now is a bold version of Ryu from Suikoden 2 because I want to make a bold naked template that I can put clothes on later. But yeah, so I made this little video, and also I've been hard at work. I've written battle music and victory music, using, I haven't written it. I wish I'd written it, but I've used AI for now. Might get around to it later, although I'm very happy with the results. So let's have a look at this. And this is basically just some testing that I did earlier. So you can see you've got this character here. He's not conforming to the model that is defined by the game. These are the little default characters. I've created a guy that's twice their height because I want realistically proportioned characters in the game. I think that's the right way to go. We've got a treasure chest. The game, you can easily program any object like this. You can have it open a chest or something like that, and it will give you whatever you decide is inside it. And in this case, I decided that it was 200 words I cannot say on YouTube, which is currently the currency of the game, but probably not forever. Anyway, yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this result of the sprite. And then there's this battle theme that I made. Pretty badass, right? Obviously, the characters are still the defaults. The music's solid, right?
Yeah, the music is lovely.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty standard thing. I've fixed the battle system from last night, so now you can actually see the characters. It's just a standard battle. I am very happy with the music. Actually sounds like the kind of thing I would have written when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And we did the victory music too. But that's a placeholder for now. I might use it for something with
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot wait to be immortalized in Yield Porn Shop.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be in there.
Yeah.
That's definitely gotta be in there. This is great. So there you go. That's basically what I've been playing with today. A little bit, just fucking around, trying to make something cool. But Helzo, you surprised the fuck out of me because you told me before we started the stream that you'd never heard of RPG Maker before.
No, man, I didn't know this existed.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Honestly, I might have heard something about it years ago, and I don't have no memory because
it's nearly like it's nearly like a 30-year-old design concept thing now. Yeah,
I think the first one was RM95, and that was never actually. So it's actually got a really interesting history, RPG Maker, because it was created by a company called Enter Brain, a Japanese company. And there were RPG makers that were released on PlayStation and some consoles, and they were very, very rudimentary and nothing compared to the PC version. But somehow, I don't know exactly how I got into it, but I discovered it when I was about 15 years old. And I discovered RPG Maker 95, which at the time had been hacked, translated, and produced illegally, completely illegally, and hosted on his own website. Man, this is Web 1.0 we're talking about. This is pre-Facebook. Like MySpace was just about around, I think, at that point, but I don't think anyone I knew was using it. We're talking about the year 2000.
Yep.
Right. So this guy, this Russian guy who called himself Don Miguel, which is just a brilliant. No one knows who this guy is. I have no idea who this fucking guy is. He had this website, and I wish I could pull it up, but it's completely disappeared now. It's been nuked from the internet forever. Yeah. But he had and hosted his own little website where he made translated versions of RM95 and RM2K available for people to download. And there were so many Wild West, like chipsets, character sets, face sets, like anything you could do. People were like straight ripping sprites from other games and mapping them out, like I have with the Suikoden character. So you could use them. Like people were making their own bootleg versions of Final Fantasy VII if it was done in a Final Fantasy VI style. You know, there was so many, and back then you had to go looking on these different websites. Everyone was hosting their own RM website so they could produce their own games and actually let you download them and play them. I don't think I ever played a finished one though. Like but some people got very creative. You could do all kinds of crazy shit with it. I started playing around with using it to make a movie, like just literally like have a 20-minute sequence where the characters all just walked around, talked to each other, and it basically was a film.
Right.
It was all very, very possible. You can play with camera angles, backgrounds, you can put images over the top of things. I stopped using the default face sets and started programming variables to pull images that would display their heads above the text bar instead of within it, and stuff like that. Just all kinds of crazy shit. And this was all going on between 2000 and 2005. Now it's completely different. Now, and because of this guy, right? Because he got sued by Enterbrain eventually. Took years, but eventually he got shut down, and they shut down every single site that was hosting the bootleg version of this. And that then it took them a few years, but finally they fucking realized maybe there's a market for this in the West.
Right.
It's the same old shit we talk about all the time with piracy and how people will pirate stuff if it's more convenient.
Yeah.
Than buying it. And that's why this happened. So eventually they finally realized about 10 years ago or so that there was probably a market for this. So they started making all those programs available officially with an official translation on Steam. And now that Steam's involved, you can, and that technology has tidied itself up a bit over the last decade and a half or 2 decades or whatever. Now you can publish a game and you can upload it to Steam and you can sell it. So that's probably what we're going to go for here. We'll flog it.
That's actually pretty good. One thing, because you said that there are a lot of stock characters that nobody uses because otherwise it's basically just reusing stock images. And
you're basically doing an asset flip.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't respect people who use the default stuff.
Have you tried, let's say, if you want to have, let's say, this specific type of character, can you pull out the code from the RPG Maker and maybe run it through?
There's a it's got its own script. You can use it's called action script. You can use it, you can learn it. It's very easy.
I mean, if you want to change, if you want to change the appearance, can you, let's say, run it through, let's say AI, let's say Grok or something, and just say to change to analyze it and change the appearance from there to what you want to decide, and just basically
there's no reason you wouldn't be able to do that as long as you've got a decent enough image generator that would listen to what you say and not give you some blurry, half-assed, fudged up version of it. Yeah, but it's probably still bad to do it yourself at this point. But they do have a character maker that you can get with it. I think it comes with it, and that basically is an engine where you can create profile pictures and sprites for a character that fit into the game, but they're all done using bits and bobs of each character, different hairstyles, like any kind of character creation thing. So you can use that. But what I want to do is I want to throw the rulebook out the window, and I don't want to use anything that conforms to the little one square shape hit detection box, model. Because I think that it just looks crap. I think it looked better in 2000, to be honest. The characters that they had as defaults back then were actually better. And now, so that's why I've gone with what I've gone with. But you can do virtually anything. You can, if you can get into learning the language behind it, you don't have to use the drag and drop anymore. You can change almost everything about it if you can do that. But I don't know how to do that. So I might try to learn it. But right now, I mean, there's no point committing to anything. I couldn't even make a new intro for this show. And I was talking about doing that last week, but it's been a week.
But it has been quite a week.
Version?
I mean, it's a great piece of software, you can do all kinds of crazy shit with it, like map styles. What
is that, the MV version? Because I'm just
I'm using MZ, which is the latest.
Let's see. I just wanted to check. Ooh, yeah, it is on sale.
I think it's like $40 right now. Yeah.
Fucking yeah, mate. Oh, I'm definitely going to try that.
You can get MB and MZ actually for.
Do it. Get good at it, and then help us with our project.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna need like some help with this for sure. But I mean, the problem is there's no pay, so you have to believe in the idea to do.
I'm not gonna do it about pay. Like, if you want like some tunes, music, voice acting, anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm all up for it.
The payment will be being featured in a game that is connected to the Bigetverse and being included in the credits.
Little piece of history, yeah.
That'll
be it. It'll be fun. Yeah. So there you go. That's basically what's up with that at the moment. We're working on stuff. There's a lot of great ideas that are being had. You know, like I said, I want people to be able to make their own character because I'm not going to make myself the main character, you know, but I would like, I'll put myself in it. I'll put all of us in it, and we can be like characters you can interact with or recruit as party members or something like that. Sure. That's fun. And of course we'll be going around the internet in the game to different game inspired regions. I had this idea that it would be hilarious if there was like a world where all of the beautiful and attractive female characters are, and they're under siege by a bunch of, you know, nose ring mafia bitches with blue hair, and you have to save them. But then it would be, you know, like like how there's like the princesses in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I'm not using Kingdom Hearts as a model here, but that's basically the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, you got all these like fragile waifs of beautiful women, female characters who need saving, and then you have to go off, and we'll have to go into different worlds. So there'll be like a Veil Guard world, and there'll be like a world that is absolutely determined to eradicate white people and stuff like that. You have to help all these worlds like save.
I'm now
themselves.
imagining AM as Bowser.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. I was thinking about something like that. I thought it would be really funny if I could do like a low res pixelated disembodied head version and put that as a bad guy in the battle scene. You know.
Yeah. I would more so say that like there might be a Kim Bowser character.
Yeah. Kim Bowser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. I realized why you.
Or Kim Koopa, or whatever. Yeah.
Kim Koopa, yeah, that's even better. Even better. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we'll have them. So there's all the ideas. I have a channel on my Discord. It's called RPG of the Fans. If you want to submit any ideas, please, for the love of God, do it there, or super chat them here. And then as we go on later, when things start to take shape and there's actually a framework in place, if people want to be added, you know, we'll come up with some tier bonus thing where you can be added to the game, something like that. I don't know. It's very early days right now, but that's what I'm doing. I just want to share with you guys what the fuck I'm up to at the moment. In my downtime, sitting in hospital waiting rooms gives you a lot of time to have ideas, so it's good.
Indeed. Good morning, Toasty.
Yeah. Hello, Toasty. How are you doing? T-Jab Steve for $2 says Goblin counters with "You're racist" attack -67.
You're gonna get penalized.
Yeah, exactly. Cry me a motherfucking river.
Right. I mean, there's multiple sound clips in all of our various tirades.
Yeah. Oh, we could use them all. We could absolutely fashion ourselves some sound bites to play when attacks are done, stuff like that. Yeah, it's all possible. MagesGuild for $2 says poor orc just wanted our homeland of his own. Oh, that show is so fucked up. Pathetic, isn't it? Imagine taking something like an orc and trying to make it an allegory for black people or Israelites. Who knows? Anyway, Garrett Griffin for $10 says, I've reached my personal super chat limit, but I wanted to throw something in for the new baby. That is very much appreciated. Indeed. Like, really genuinely, like that matters a lot to me. So appreciate you. And we're gonna play the song, but
drop it.
Game needs apple juice, snake people, and cuddle cow. Well, I'm pretty sure there's at least one cuddle cow. I'm already thinking of making a major boss in it. You know? Not like the end boss, but you know, like when you play a JRPG and there's like that annoying thorn in your side character, like Ultros and Final Fantasy VI, or Nanasaki and Mio from Grandia, or whatever. This is like this guy or this gal or whatever who keeps showing up, and you have to fight them like 17 times throughout the game, and finally you get to beat them right as the big bad guy actually appears. You know, yeah, something like that. It'll be like that. So that's what I'm thinking of. And there'll be plenty of cuddle cowing in that because we'll be using real life for inspiration.
That's right.
So appreciate that, DramaticaLaur.
Melissa.
Melissa, yeah. Lolita.
Yeah.
TJAP Steve for $2 says Black Mage attacks with like the stream.
Like the stream.
Share the stream.
Yes, share the stream. The only problem with that is that there's no way he'd be happy being a black mage. I got to give him a gun or something. So I figured I'd base his character on Clive from Suikoden, who's like the hooded character with a shotgun. And then I won't have to do much work to change the sprites. Yeah. And we'll definitely have that as a class you can choose, and then you'll be mentored by him, or you could have a sword. I'll be like decked out in Link tights or something stupid like that. You know, they're not gay. They help me run faster. You know, stuff like that. You know, something like that. Yeah. And then everyone wants Smash JT, or like I don't know what to call him, TJ Boomer. That's better. Yeah, he'll be your cleric. You can choose to be a healer or something, whatever. And then we'll try to program in some different stuff that happens. It's going to be a huge project. We're talking like a year or two probably to get this thing working. Depends how many people want to get involved and help out. Yeah. If I have to do everything myself, it's going to be a long time.
Yeah. We'll have to nail down the story. I think almost to lead the way, and then
you might be able to get a demo out within like a year, maybe. But there you go. St. Hugo is here for 6 months of Grift Force membership. That's half a fucking year, ladies and gentlemen. Just glad to see this coming to life. Yeah, you know, when I was streaming it yesterday, I was just sort of sitting there with Photoshop and a pen. I was like, is this really entertaining? And people in the chat were like, this is the greatest stream ever. Like, whoa, all right, cool. I'll do more of them then.
I do want to put into the name of into the running of possible actual names, Game of the Fans. Or
that would be we could do that. Yeah,
possibly.
We could definitely do that. James Up just jumps in from the top rope with a steel chair for 10 Will of the Fans memberships.
There's one thing you better know, and that is I love all of y'all. Listen, can I explain something to you about being a daddy?
Don't try to frighten us with your devotion.
The daddy is the breadwinner. You dig what I'm saying? And if you don't win that bread, it just don't come around.
And what a fucking legend. Love it. All right, thank you very much. Let's crack on. We are almost at an hour and we haven't got anywhere near this yet. So let's talk very, very quickly about Doctor Who, because Doctor Who can kiss my ass in hell forever and ever and ever. Amen. RTD wanted Doctor Who to move away from very straight masculine and testosterone-y sci-fi.
Testosterone-y?
Yeah.
What even is writing anymore?
That's I know, right? That's bullshit. There's actually a joke in an early episode of Friends where I think it's Phoebe says, "Stop being so testosterone-y" to someone. And Chandler's like, which is, by the way, the real San Francisco treat. So, pretty good, right? Friends is a good show. If you haven't watched Friends, you really should, especially in this fucking dearth of entertainment that we have now. The continuity is fucking all over the place with that show, though. The characters' ages change like 4 times and stuff.
Right.
But if you can get around that, you're gonna have a lot of laughs. It's my wife's favorite show, like by miles. If she doesn't know what to watch, she watches Friends. They took it off Netflix, so I put it on my Plex. Because
That's a very comfort show. Like it's something you can watch multiple times.
It's easy watching, fun, light-hearted. There's only a few episodes that get really heavy, and you don't have to watch it.
But again, it's mixed again. Like even the heavy episodes.
I mean, even like the most brutal episodes of that show, like when like Ross and Rachel break up and they're having this like really horrible, visceral argument with each other.
They were on a break.
They were on a fucking break. They were forever on a fucking break. Even Jennifer Aniston herself agrees that they were on a break.
That's right.
Rachel's mad. Anyway, I have a lot to say about Friends. It's one of my favorite shows. It's one of my favorite shows. I grew up as a teenager when it was on TV, so of course I was watching it every week. But there's like, even when they're having like that vicious breakup, the other friends are all trapped in the bedroom listening to it because they don't want to come out and interrupt. So they're stuck in there for like 6 hours, starving.
With Joey.
Joey wants to eat the wax that the girls were using to wax their legs. It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
Fucking nonsense. That guy went from being like a cool Italian, slightly dumb guy to being a child in a man's body.
Yep.
It's funny also because if you believe like some of the theories of that show, all the characters slowly lose their minds and become like cartoons of themselves by the end of the show. They're all so exaggerated and crazy. The only one who doesn't really do it is Chandler, who's my favorite. MagesGuild for $2 says, did you watch the Vader Leia clip in your DMs? I don't know. I don't think I did. Remind me later and I'll try and find some time for that. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, I love the fan theory that Chandler is secretly like a tech bro millionaire, basically, and he just hangs out. Like he basically funds Joey just because it's like, you know, his
fun for him. Yeah, that's a good one. Because he's the only one in the show who consistently holds down a job. Even though he hates his job, he still just goes and does it for like the first 9 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so he has enough money to fully finance his obsessive princess wannabe wife's dream wedding.
Yep.
And like it's just like, yeah, I have, you know, close to this much money
and give tons of money to Joey.
Whoa, you got so much. And then he literally runs Joey's life. Yeah, like Joey never has to worry until he gets back on the soap opera. He literally for like 5 years, Joey is just sustained by Chandler. It's ridiculous. The show's so fucking stupid, but it's brilliant. I love it. Anyway, William Hestillo is here for $5 and says, when RTD speaks, I keep hearing the line from South Park. Stick a chicken in and make it lame and gay. Yeah, except with him, it'd be put a chicken in it, make it lame and gay. You know? So, there we go. I'm a little bit more diligent. No, you're fucking not, you fat prick.
That's right. He's a little bit more indulgent, but certainly not diligent.
Diligent. The only thing he's diligent at is trying to get his dick back into Gatwa's asshole.
That's right.
All right. So, reflecting on his recent work with Doctor Who, showrunner Russell T Davies revealed in one of his driving goals since taking the reins again was to steer the show away from what he called very straight, very masculine, very testosterone-y science fiction.
What the fuck does that mean?
I mean,
make it lame and gay.
Obviously, it means nothing. Hestilow's right.
It's science.
Make it lame and gay. But you know, but the funny thing about that, right? If you fuck, there's so many angles to approach this one stupid comment from RTD. Number one, who the hell are sci-fi fans?
Dudes.
How many people do you know whose wives convince them to watch Star Trek?
I can't say.
How many guys do you know whose wives convince them to watch Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or I'm fucking Shaun of the Dead? You know, like how many? It's not. These are male things. These are male interests.
Yeah.
They
even when like I know some women and even like I know not like at least 10 or 15 girls and women who love Doctor Who, but they love the classic Doctor Who.
Right, we know one. There you go.
Yeah. But
And
they
that's
love the
because
classic Doctor Who. They
DramaticaLaur
don't
is
want the new
cool.
one.
Exactly. They don't want the new one. No one wants the new one. No one wants it at all. The other element of this that's completely ridiculous and also, once again, is a strong argument for Russell T Davies being a pod person, is that he was in charge of Doctor Who in the 2000s, right? So the very straight, very masculine, very testosterone Doctor Who that he's talking about is his.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really quite gay.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot more gay than most things on the TV were in 2005. Like, yeah, we had gay shows like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy and stuff like that, which we talk about all the time because it's the sterling example of how tolerant we already were and why we never needed wokeness in the fucking first place. But the point is, he was the guy who had Jack Harkness. He's the guy who had Jack Harkness kiss the Doctor goodbye at the end of series 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in like a, you know, it's a 1 second kiss on the lips, which is a little uncomfortable to watch, but then you kind of go, oh, what's he like? It wasn't the same as the massive makeout or the dry humping that went on in Rogue.
Right.
So why couldn't you just be satisfied with that, you massive puff? Why couldn't you?
He had to be seen.
So he's now going, well, you know, I tried to make the show less straight in 2005. But now apparently that wasn't good enough. So now he's got to undo his own work by making everything hyper gay.
Yeah.
These people actively hate money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking
And the
of
ratings show for it.
Manchester, Davis responded to a comment suggesting that the show had properly tapped into the Lugabutuka side this time around. Oh, I think it was just like
that's not the win.
1% in that direction. 1%?
The amount of audience you have left.
Yeah. No,
right?
1%. Are you kidding me? You went from
that. If that's 1%, Jesus
what's
Christ!
What's 100?
Right?
Jesus, what's 10%? What's 10%? Just literally straight anal hardcore sex scenes in Doctor Who. Man on boy.
Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver is a meat one attached between his legs when he's in a skirt.
It's like,
okay,
Russell, dial it up to 10%. Okay, cut 2. The Doctor is violently rogering a small boy inside the TARDIS.
That's right.
It's fully graphic and it's, you know.
Is there any way we get 7 dudes blowing 3 other dudes? You know, it's like, Jesus, dude, man, like, settle it down.
The Doctor is faced with the Master. The only way he can stop him this time is by giving him a blowjob for 6 hours. You know, like,
the Doctor is actively working for abortion and getting shrunk and going inside women's uteruses and graphically destroying babies.
Yeah, the Doctor gets shrunk down and he has to go into a woman's uterus and kill the fetus himself. You know, oh my
Strangling
god,
him.
oh my god, yeah, just, oh fucking hell! Like, at what point have you become Davros? You know. You can't. But it's 2025, so that's reason enough, apparently. And you also have to look at what the others are doing. Science fiction franchises very masculine, very testosterone, and so that's where Doctor Who can fill a space.
What kind of science fiction have you been watching in 2025, Davis?
Fill a space. Fill us.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. This is sounding really gay.
It's the fucking human centipede. That's what it is. It's
It's the Doctor
like
centipede.
It's you've got to be as debased and fucking awful as you possibly can. You got to be completely degenerate these days if you are going to be shocking. And this is the thing I think is actually the big problem with the Lugabutuka bunch anyway, is that they're first of all, they're all gay, right? So they're drama addicts, right? So you go to these people, this bunch of, you know, the downtrodden secret gay members of the gay lumpen proletariat hidden beneath the shadows of man, and all that shit. And then suddenly you go, yeah, you know what? Actually, we don't really mind if you want to bum each other. Just
shut up about it.
Just shut up. Be cool. Fuck each other as much as you want. I don't want to hear about it, but you guys, you're people. You deserve to be able to fuck who you want, as long as you don't hurt anyone. Yeah. Fuck each other in private.
Talk about it in public.
It really is the gay mafia, man.
And being like, well, I bit the outside of her labia, and then fucking hell, like, shut up, bro. No one wants to hear this. No one wants to see straight couples making out in the middle of a bar in the middle of the afternoon. Nobody wants to see gay couples do it either. Nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to fucking see it. Just keep it to your fucking selves, for the love of God. Have a little bit of humility. Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
And don't do it near kids. The same rules apply for straight people.
They're attracted to drama, and they're attracted to creating it. So that's why they can keep it to
exactly.
themselves.
So the point is that once you get to the point where you're like, you know what, guys, go for your lives. It's fine. As long as everyone's consenting and no one gets hurt and there's no children involved. Same as for straight people, basically. Go for it, and don't bore us to death with the details.
On that as well.
And then they go, well, we've won. My God, we actually have the right to date and even apparently marry whomever the hell we want.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
That's
cool.
That's really boring, isn't it?
Hack it in.
That's so fabulous.
We're not irrelevant anymore.
We're not the downtrodden underclass anymore. We're just part of the world.
Yeah, I mean,
that is not interesting for a drama queen.
I think that's like the most annoying thing about the gay mafia is it's like, all right, like pay us lip service, or it sure would be a bad thing if something happened to all these properties you love. It's like, all right, cool, here's your protection money. They're like, oh yeah, well, fuck that, we're gonna fuck up your shit anyways.
Yeah, because it's got to be about me. But the funny thing is, actually, it's only now because there's a divide. There's an absolute split between people like my friend, the guy who used to annoy everyone with a guitar, and his boyfriend, and they're a nice couple, and they are just gay. They're just a gay couple. They're the two guys who love each other very much and want to spend the rest of their lives together. And it's like, okay, that's great. I'm glad you guys found each other. I'm glad it's working. It's been fucking like a decade at this point, as far as I'm aware, pretty sure. Right. And great for them. Wonderful. Lovely. Enjoy it. And then there's the other ones who are the activists who, I don't know how gay Russell T. Davis is, but he seems to be more obsessed with the activism side of it than just being a gay man in a world that absolutely tolerates people being gay.
Right. Right.
So it's like, well, we've got to shock people even more. We can't just be tolerated. Now we've got to be celebrated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, at least with the mafia, you pay them like, your insurance money and your business is fine. Here you go. But yeah, they're just like, this is like you pay them an exorbitant fee and then they're still just like, all right, we'll burn this fucking building down.
I know.
Yeah. It needs to be flaming, It's like, but I did the thing.
Boil it down to a tribute. Paying the mafia is a financial tribute for the Lugabutaka mafia. Then the tribute is acknowledging them and accepting them into society, right? And we've done
not accepting them. If it was accepting them, it was going to be good. It is having them. Yeah, but you need to celebrate them as them being special. If it was accepting them, it was, as you said, they were accepted.
Yeah,
and they became part of the set. That would have been enough. It's not about acceptance. They need to be celebrated. They need to be special. Yeah. They need to receive all the money, all the privileges. And even if you give them all the privileges, they're just going to make up more privileges. Trans people virtually didn't exist.
And that's it. So now the standard gays and even lesbians, if they exist, and bis, which definitely don't exist, and all that stuff. All these people are basically sick and tired of it as well.
Absolutely.
Like, you've made us look like a bunch of wankers.
Absolutely. Proper gay couples, like people who have been at this way before these new fuckers and who have actually had to endure lot of.
I know
of bad
guys who
stuff.
are in their 60s who are a gay couple, and
Yes.
they're like, well, we used to have to sneak around, and it's nice that we don't have to anymore.
All right.
I'm like,
Up until 15 years ago, people were being killed here just for being that, by mobs, by neo-Nazi mobs, by skinheads, and in the parks they were being beaten to death just for being gay, not for doing anything gay, just because someone told someone of that group he's gay. They chased one guy down, and they absolutely beat him to death. Yeah, and that's something I stand against.
That's no way to treat a human being.
Exactly. And every single one of the people who endured something like this, whether it be in school, in life, like 10, 20 years ago, now hates the new LGBT movement. They hate
they haven't earned it. They haven't earned anything.
Yeah, and that's why I always say equity is vengeance, you know, because it's like, it's one thing to sit here and say, oh, well, I want things to kind of like get addressed and to be, you know, rebalanced, and, you know, like, I just want to like have a fair, you know, shake at things. But then when you go and you commit to the same actions that you were sitting here and complaining about, like things that people were doing ignorantly, and you're doing them maliciously, that actually means that you're the one who's really actually fucking evil.
Exactly. And so there you go. There are several reasons why RTD is talking out of his ass, and he needs to shut the fuck up and piss off forever. And so does anybody else who is gaping out, fucking bellowing with his prolapse butthole. Fucking hell, Will.
The chat is having is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, everything I say is like clip.
Yeah. MagesGuild with the $5 fucking non sequitur to save me. Says it's hard enough to find a woman who will watch Father Ted with us. My mother loved Father Ted. That scene in. I hear you're a racist now, Father. How did you be getting into that now? We'll have to do Father Ted sooner or later.
Yes.
It's too fucking great. And then we'll do the Fast Show. Fucking brilliant as well. Let's just do a fucking load of classic British comedy. Somebody should be doing this. Might as well be us. But anyway, Father Ted. There's a scene where they basically do a rip-off of Speed, you know, the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves. But it's a milk float. Okay, so a vengeful milkman who has become very angry because he was a womanizer, and he basically created an incredible amount of babies on the island where they all live. And so he got fired after the priests complained, and he wants revenge on them. So he decides that he's going to put a bomb on the milk float that one of the priests has to drive to do the milk round in his stead. And so the vengeful milkman has put a bomb on the boat. If you go on the milk float, if you go over 4 miles an hour, it activates, and then you can't go below 4 miles an hour. And then, so he's trying to keep, it's a milk float, so it's like the slowest moving vehicle ever. So he has to maintain a speed limit, a minimum speed of 4 miles an hour on this rank old island with no good roads. You know, and then everyone's panicking and trying to like help him and stuff. It's very much just like Speed, except in a very small remote island on a milk float. And at one point, the priests get together with the whiteboard. They try to come up with a strategy for what the best thing they can do to help him. So then it cut to the milk float as this little wagon gets towed alongside it, and it's the three of them delivering a mass, a Catholic mass. On a little vehicle going alongside the road. The best way they can think to help someone is to get in a vehicle and stand on a podium being towed along at like 4 miles an hour and give a mass to bless the milk float. And every time that fucking scene played, my mum would die laughing of like 20 minutes of just raucous laughter. We'd have to stop the episode. She couldn't stop laughing, and she had a really wild witch-like laugh as well, like, ah! You know. So it became hilarious, more funny than the actual show, watching somebody just die laughing at the idea of a mobile mass, you know. But anyway, there you go. So Father Ted is the shit. We gotta watch that too. but I think she's in the minority. It is hard to find a woman who will watch Father Ted with us, because if I tried to suggest this to my wife, she'd be like, what? You have to just get roped into watching it, you know? It has to be like a bunch of people and you go, come on, you go watch this with us. Then they feel like peer pressure and then they'll enjoy it. But if you try and go, hey, would you like to watch this show about 3 random strange priests on an island on the west coast of Wales and their crazy adventures? She's gonna go,
big ask.
I think I'd rather stick 9-inch nails into my eyeballs, you know. But there you go. Much less Star Trek. Men are 90% of the sci-fi audience. Bridgerton is their show. Exactly. And the other thing about Bridgerton and how it compares to sci-fi. Sci-fi, traditionally, is rooted in fact, right? It's the hyper extension of certain absolute scientific facts to apply to strange situations in the far future or in deep space or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how sci-fi was. Which is why Star Wars is not a sci-fi, by the way, because there's no science in it, and or no measurement from us here now, no acknowledgement of Earth or us at all, actually.
Yeah.
So it's fantasy. But it's all fucking Father Jack quotes in the fucking chat now. Feck off! I love my brick. Yeah. But it's a good point. Bridgerton, on the other hand, is their show, and that is supposed to be rooted in history, but the history is completely ignoring history with all these like black members of the Regency and stuff that just weren't there, just didn't exist. So there you go. All right, then let's move on to the main event. But before we do that, we're going to catch up with the supers, and sorry, that's not what I mean. What I mean is we've got to acknowledge that the bar is well over halfway full. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Money, print money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat money.
As salty as the sea, calling us no-code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
More money.
Capitalism. That's right, baby. All right, it's Red Dwarf time. We got 3 episodes we got to get through, and we ain't got that long to do it. We're going to go over time, of course, as always, because I just enjoy talking to you guys so much. We should do the show every day. It's episode 2, Future Echoes, which you did see, Helzo. So we can talk about that, and that should be good. Now, obviously, in the interest of not getting this stream taken off the internet by the BBC while we're still making it, and by the way, just want to make this as clear as I possibly can. Hey, you guys, BBC, suck my fucking dick, you communist cunts. There we go.
Basically, yes.
Transformative.
Yeah. Transformative. Yeah. The only trans they don't pay attention to, apparently.
Indeed.
So there we go. Anyway, this is episode 2. It's called Future Echoes. It's a really good episode. Unfortunately, we're going to have my stupid logo here all over it. But this is where the show starts to really play around with its first sort of baby steps into real sci-fi. Because obviously, you're like, it's funny in the first episode, you've got, hey, everybody's dead, Dave, we're 3 million years into deep space. Now it's like, okay, well, what happens when you are actually in that situation and you have to live with it?
Yeah.
So this is where the show really gets kind of good. Obviously, we start with Holly. This is the first time they've done this, where Holly's face shows up on the screen. They do this for the first couple of seasons. Holly comes up and it basically says, SOS from the mining ship Red Dwarf. The crew are dead, killed by a radiation leak. The only survivors are Dave Lister, who was in suspended animation, and his and a life form who evolved from his pet cat, and Arnold Rimmer, a hologram of one of the dead crew. revived 3 million years later. That's basically what the situation is. Then there's a random joke about I think in this one it's the classic I am Holly, the ship's computer with an IQ of 6,000, the same IQ as 6,000 PE teachers. Which
yeah,
Indeed.
it's fantastic. Love it. Norman Lovett is actually the guy's name who plays Holly, by the way. So that was accidental. But so we're here, and obviously Lister is now riding around on this motorbike thing that he's put together himself. If you read the books, he puts it together himself. If you didn't, he didn't. So he's still singing his songs. He's adapted to the idea that he's alone in deep space with a hologram and a life form that evolved from his cat. So I don't know how many weeks or months later it is, and you get your first sort of joke of the season, which is this vending machine. So obviously, Lister used to be a chime in whenever you want, by the way, guys, if you have any thoughts. Otherwise, I'm just going to narrate the whole thing. If you have like any appreciation for a joke or anything like that. He goes to this vending machine and it says, "Hello, how can I help you?" And he, what can I do for you today? And he's like, "You've got a list."
Yeah. So sorry.
Yes, this has been reported to the scutters. He's got, after 3 million years, the vending machine has developed a lisp. What do you think about that?
Oh, it's pretty great. Like all the tech at this point in time has all gone a little bit wonky, and it's great.
All of it. Like
I just checked because that thing, when I first saw it, it immediately brought memories of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from the books, because jokes
it's
like
the same
that
kind of humor,
but it's a very specific space humor that it's in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I just checked, Hitchhiker is older as a book. But
the book is older. The TV show is older too, I think.
The original, I think
it's the same year. It's the same fucking year. Wow. There you go.
It was
it's
that
dry
joke was
humor.
very, very nice.
It's dry, ironic humor. And it's deadpan. Red Dwarf does this a lot in the first series. It kind of leans more into the wacky and fantastical as the show goes on, but it never loses completely its grip on the dry, sarcastic, situational comedy. This is, again, an example that there are no real gags in Red Dwarf. Like, you could argue this whole thing is a sketch, but it's not really, because it is relevant to the situation. It's not like a random, you can put it in anywhere kind of joke. So I also like the fact that it's so specific. Like, how could you break a machine whose only function speak to you and give you food? Okay, well, we got to fuck up its voice, its ability to speak, right?
Right.
Give it a lisp. So, as Sardoc Spamfish points out correctly, yes, for £2, thank you, he developed a lisp, reported by the Scutters. Yes, that's what it says. So, Lister's like, "You've got a lisp." Yes, this has been reported to the Scutters. So he asked him for like a bacon sandwich or something. Rimmer shows up. I think we're maybe already past the bit. Yeah. He asks him for like a black coffee and
gets a bucket
sandwich, and he gets given a bucket. Literally. And he tries a second time, and it's the bucket the second time, I think.
Yeah. First time it's a boot when he asked for the chicken sandwich.
That's it. Yeah. So the vending machine doesn't work anymore, and Lister's going to do nothing about it because he's Lister. He's a lazy bastard. But it used to be his job to make them work. But apparently neither he nor Rimmer give a shit about it anymore, which is interesting. But so he gets given a bucket. He's very annoyed, and he tells it, your speech recognition software's broken too. You got the wrong order. He goes, "Yes, this has been also reported to the Scutters." So there you go. Moving on then, and Rimmer shows up, and he's doing his morning jog, which is ridiculous because he's a fucking hologram.
Yes. that was, I was like, why?
The thing
and then I
is,
said, okay, yeah, why is not
Because he's Rimmer.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Because he's
so
Rimmer.
it's just not an appropriate question with the show. I very quickly found out that asking that question is not very.
Because he's Rimmer. Yeah, is very often the answer. Yeah, Rimmer is a bastard. You know, he's literally. You find out later that there is even a bit where he gets back to like the bunks, the barracks, their personal sleeping quarters, and he's like, "Oh wow, how long did that take me?" He insults Lister while he's here. By the way, he calls him like a pregnant baboon belly smeghead goit or something. I can't remember what he calls him. Says you're a disgrace to the species, and he races off going to himself. He gets here, decides that he can take time off because this is Rimmer. Right. Yep. This is Rimmer in a nutshell. He's like, well, how fast was that? Let's see. I should minus 5 minutes for that conversation with Lister.
Like seconds or something.
20 seconds, maybe, you know. And then he goes, oh, and of course I stopped to have a rest so I wouldn't look too tired and shagged out when I caught up with Lister. So apparently he can still become tired. And you know, so there's a certain amount of poetic license you just have to accept with Red Dwarf, especially when it comes to Rimmer. He's gonna age for a start. The show's last series was only a few years ago, and like 3 or 4 years ago, and you know they're all in their 50s now. And he's still a hologram, but for some reason he has aged. Whereas you would imagine that he would look like this forever. If you know, so you kind of have to let that shit go, especially because actually there's a season where Rimmer leaves, then there's a season where there's another Rimmer, then there's where like he gets remade by nanomachines along with the entire crew, like season 8, and then he disappears. Everyone dies except Rimmer. And then in the next season, they're back on Starbog as if it were like season 6. So like, I don't know what happened. So there it is. Maybe Holly just generated another Rimmer hologram. I don't know. But there you go. The rules of holograms is probably the least consistent thing in the whole show. Like, how can a hologram leave to go on adventures? Which is what happens with Rimmer later.
Right.
But anyway, so he gets into an argument with Holly, tells him to give him a haircut, says he looks like a Hell's Angel. And then he calls him a stupid goit or something. And he says, I'm a what? And he says, you heard. So he gives him this haircut, which you can't see clearly. But it's
a beehive,
from
it's
Married
a beehive.
with Children.
It's a beehive hairdo. Yeah, exactly. Yep. He's got a woman's beehive hairdo. Lister walks in. Oh no, Lister's hanging out with the cat. That's it. He wasn't in the bunk. He was in the examination room. So then they're here, and Lister's showing the cat a lot of things from Earth, and he has a picture of a dog, and the cat is outraged at the existence of this thing called a dog, and he says, "Oh, I'm gonna have to chase it."
You know, big.
Lister's like, they're like 10 foot tall. They could bite right through you. He's like, well, I might have to chase it anyway. Then he sneaks off and he's scared.
Yeah.
Lister's here. He's fucking around with Lennon and McCartney's robot goldfish. So that's something that never comes up ever again. Then Rimmer walks in. The cat's following him because he's like, what the fuck has happened to you? Then there's a big gag. Lister notices, starts laughing his ass off at what's going on. And then, yeah, a lot of gags here. He goes, he thinks his hair's been like cut military short.
Yep.
And for
I
some
just
reason,
like the way it looks.
It makes me feel like a man.
It makes me feel like a man, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is great. So there you go. So Lister's like, he says it makes me feel like a man, and Lister says, yeah, you probably get one looking like that. He says, there's nothing wrong with short hair, Lister. You are what you look like, and I look like, and he looks in the mirror, he goes, like a complete and total tit.
Yep.
So then they go to the drive room. There's more arguments. There's nothing really happening in the episode because the central thing that matters hasn't happened yet. So then we get to Lister. He's having a shave, and he's too busy singing his little Ganymede and Titan song to have noticed what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
He picks up the shaving cream and uses
instead
it
of the aerosol deodorant. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's covered himself in shaving cream in his dirty pits, which he then grabs and slaps onto his face anyway because he's Lister and he's a slob. Then it's something we've broken the light barrier. That's what's Red Dwarf has officially broken the light barrier. If you read the book, Red Dwarf's not supposed to be able to break the light barrier,
right,
and travel beyond the speed of light, but they've been accelerating for 3 million years, consistently accelerating.
Yep.
So with all that time, it turns out with the absence of friction in space, anything could eventually break the light barrier. So that's the logic anyway. I don't know.
Yep.
But Holly can't handle it. And then Lister starts. This is going to be a real easy episode to fucking watch with this logo all over it. Lister's doing his shaving, and suddenly he sees in his reflection that that Rimmer's there, and he's cut himself. And he's looking at it, and fuck, I got to put it back. So he's looking in the mirror. Nice job, by the way, that they actually reflected that in the screen. You can see Rimmer in the mirror, even though he's not there in the scene. So that was pretty damn good for 1981.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so Lister's cut himself, but he hasn't. Not yet. And then Rimmer's in the mirror looking at him, and Lister starts freaking out because he can see all this shit. Then he actually does cut himself, and he screams for Rimmer. And he's done it a couple of times. So Rimmer shows up, and now they're like talking about what they're seeing in the mirror, except that they're not really paying attention. It's a bit poetic licensey, this joke. I didn't really like it, to be honest, when I first saw it, because I thought, well, they've noticed that their lips aren't matching. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit weak, this setup, but it works anyway. So it turns out that they are seeing visions of the future as they prepare to go into suspended animation. Lister and Rimmer are having a bit of an argument about the fact that Lister wants to go back into stasis because he wants to
be alive when they get to Earth.
He wants to get back to Earth, and then they can't because they're 3 million years away. In fact, that never gets brought up again, actually. So, but we'll find out why.
That
by
was
the end
what
of
I
this
was gonna
episode.
ask because we see a lot of things that are potentially gonna happen in the future with this episode, and I wanted to ask if
To date, they've never actually made it back to Earth in this present year.
and none of what we're seeing here has happened. Like apart from what happens within the episode.
Oh no, the stuff that happens in the episode has happened. Yeah, happens in like season 2.
No, I mean the version of the futures that they see.
The
and
vision.
stuff like
The old Lister, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
been totally. I mean, it might happen, but it hasn't. We haven't got that far yet. Lister's still only like 50 years old in the current series of.
Only 50.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We've got like another 120
He's
years
got to
to
be
go.
100 and something to be as old as he is by the end of this episode. Yeah. But anyway, the cat's there. He's wheeling his racks. He's got racks and racks of suits that he wants to take with him into stasis. Lister tells him he can't. He's only allowed to choose 2 suits. The cat treats this as if he's just basically been told he has to sacrifice his legs. So and his arms.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to do it. Anyway, Lister goes into the we've gone wait. We've gone way past it. Sorry, folks. So he walks into. He's shouting at the cat. That's it. He walks in, and Rimmer walks in, and this is a great scene.
Yeah.
I wish I could play the fucking thing, but I can't. So Lister starts talking to him about what the hell he's going on. Try and have a conversation with him, and Rimmer goes, "What?" And then he goes, "How did I do what?" And it almost works. The conversation almost works. Like what Lister is saying and what Rimmer is saying almost sync up. But at a certain point, it becomes clear that Rimmer's not looking at Lister. He's talking to somebody that's not there.
Right.
He's turning around and responding. Says like, "Don't be stupid. Don't be a gimboid." And then he turns around and says, "Shut up." And he goes, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. And Lister's the whole time is like, "What the fuck is going on here? Why is he talking to no one? He's having a conversation that I'm not part of yet." And this must have been really difficult because there's no blue screen here. There's no green screen, blue screen or anything. They just literally played it. Like he played it the same way twice.
Yep.
I was watching when I watched that episode. I was watching to see the differences that both performances will have, and there's like very small differences, but it's so little that it's extremely impressive how they pulled it off. I was very happy with this scene.
Yeah, it's fantastically done. Obviously, chat, what we're alluding to is the fact that this is not Rimmer. This is another vision of the future, like what happened with Lister seeing himself cut himself before it happened. So the Rimmer he's talking to right now, I'm sure you know, is literally just ignoring him. He's not really there. He's having a conversation with Lister that hasn't happened yet. So Lister's there. He's trying to have this conversation. Rimmer's being there. And then literally Rimmer walks back in. Now, the thing that is important here is, to your point, Helzo, that the performance is so very, very similar. That it's more or less you have to be looking for it with a fine-tooth comb to notice any real difference in the two performances by Chris Barry. He's a professional, or was at least before Red Dwarf, a professional impersonator.
Really?
Like that's what he did. He was on like Spitting Image with the puppets and lots of those old shows where he would do impressions of people. That's what he did. That was his job. Before he became an actor, he was just a stand-up comic who got jobs on sketch shows doing voiceover
that explains a lot.
Doing impressions on stage. Exactly. Yeah. So it actually stands to reason that he'd be able to mimic himself perfectly. That's what I think.
Stand-up comics, when they're doing the same show several times, they need to do it
timing and everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Lister was too. He wasn't a stand-up comic. He was a poet, which is a comedy poet. And that was his
which
thing.
Which again employs the same, like very similar.
You got to learn your routine. It's very choreographed. Exactly.
Yeah, you watch someone like Lee Evans, who used to just go into this frenzied flailing around like kind of thing, mostly because he was high on speed the whole time. But he did do the same performance like every night, the same fucking way. Same voices, same facial expressions, same timing, everything. Someone like Jack D, another British comic who was famous for doing deadpan with a completely straight face the entire time, he again had to say these lines that would make him laugh until they didn't make him laugh anymore, and deliver them all with a completely straight face like a miserable bastard. Completely opposites, but the same principle applies. You have to, perhaps, even more than just an actor who's being directed, you've got to get your shit damn tight so you can be successful at this. So it stands to reason that Rimmer, Chris Barry is such a good impressionist that he reads the Red Dwarf books, the audio versions of the Red Dwarf novels, and does all the voices.
Nice.
He does an impression of himself as Rimmer. He does an impression of Lister. He does the cat, which is probably the worst one, but it's still pretty good. And he does Crichton when Crichton jumps in too, and Holly. He does literally a voiceover version of all of them, and reads the book. So he's very good. Yeah,
that's actually impressive.
It is, yeah. So as he walks out, another Rimmer walks in. Very nice, early, rudimentary split screen. And
it's actually
I've done this myself. This kind of trick photography. Yeah, no, you can't notice it. No, because the split. Well, you can kind of notice it actually because there is a line down the screen. If you look just
to the side of apparent, it's very well placed, which is especially for the year that this was made. It is impressive.
Yeah. I've done this trick. I've duplicated myself on screen for
same. But
and I would imagine it's only due to modern technology that you're actually even really able to detect this. You go back and put this on a CRT screen.
Oh, you never?
Never.
You would?
No,
It's
never.
the first
never.
time. Literally, right now is the first time I've ever noticed the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not apparent immediately.
No, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. But the line is exactly where I would put it if I was doing this, and it's right on the side of the door.
Yeah,
exactly.
But there you go. But anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. It's done well. So Rimmer walks in, delivers the exact same performance, except this time Lister is asking him about his previous performance. How did you do that? Now he says, what? how did I do what? And now it makes sense. He says all the same fucking lines that he just said before, except now Lister is there and this conversation is happening in the present and it's real Rimmer. So literally, just as now you see the way he turns where Lister's gone, like they've got their marks spot on. Ed By is a smashing fucking director, no question. And it's just great TV. So it's all the same stuff again. And then Lister starts interrupting him, and then Rimmer says, "Shut up," same as he did before. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. You know, what things? I said what? Yeah, you're space crazy. Yeah, it's exactly the same fucking lines that he said before. So he chases him, and then they see the cat running down, and the cat's screaming about having lost his tooth. And then they get into the sleeping quarters, and of course the cat is there.
Yep.
Trying to eat Lister's
Robot
robot
fish.
goldfish. Yeah.
Yep.
Which you can figure out is presumably, and it's a very nice piece of writing, by the way, to set up the idea that Lister has a robot goldfish. We skipped the shot earlier where he opens it up and fixes it with a screwdriver and puts it back in and starts swimming. The cat doesn't know it's a robot goldfish. We do. We've got some dramatic irony there.
Yep.
We can work out, and we're supposed to work out that this is how the cat has broken his tooth, trying to eat a metal robot goldfish. Then, of course, they play with that later, much later, so that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because the only reason Lister would have ever gone and done what he does that results in the cat losing his tooth in the first place is if the future echoes are appearing before them in the first place to influence their behavior.
Right. Which is
so
great.
This is how you do it, RTD.
A show that was made for people who actually think and actually having some faith in your audience to figure it out.
To be able to work it out, yeah. And if not, there's just the mildest of expository dumps later as well to make sure that you've got the point. And they do that even quite well by pointing out that it needs to be explained simply enough for Lister to understand it. Which actually doesn't really work because the dumbest one of them is the cat, but whatever. Anyway, so they're trying to talk to Holly, but Holly's not there right now. He's oh no, he is there now. Earlier on they tried to talk to him, but he was on a voice recording. And then at one point we got the line where he says, "I can't believe it. We've done it. We've broken the light barrier. My bottle's gone," which is like a British slang for basically meaning you're about to shit yourself with fear. You've lost your bottle.
Right.
And he says, "Aren't you a robot with aren't you a computer with an IQ of 6,000?" He goes, "We are about to. I have to pilot a ship the size of a city at speeds hitherto unforeseen by man. Even at by the time we see an object, we've already passed through it."
Right.
It says, "Even IQ of 6,000, it's still brown trousers time." Fantastic. I'm going to catch up with some supers, guys. We got a few come in. So we had the Lisp reported to the Scutters, yes. And William Heslow is here for one William Fans membership.
Be right back.
And another one, and another one, and another one. So,
nice.
I mean, no way around it. That's
There's one thing you better know, and that is, I love all of y'all. Listen, can I explain something to you about being a daddy?
Don't try to frighten us with your devotion.
Daddy is the breadwinner.
She does not look like that anymore. She's so big now. She's like jumping and laughing and pulling things. Now I play peekaboo with her like this, and all I have to do is say Pika, and she pulls my hand away. You know, it's good shit.
Nice.
Anyway, thank you very much, William. Appreciate you for that. And of course, MagesGuild continuing on form. Talking obviously about the previous scene, says this scene was some impressive choreography. It was. It's just lovely to see how people used to do things. Like, because when I went to college, we didn't have any budget. We had camcorders and basic editing software until I got into Final Cut. I had to learn how to do all this stuff, and I wasn't any better at it than they were then.
Right.
So, you know, I did the split screening shit as well. and then I would have to do that as well when I'm making my own films in college. I'd have to like act in them as well because there was no fucking actors. So you have to do the same line the same way, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, you know, and get it down. And then make sure you're standing on the right fucking mark when you're the director, but you're also in the shot and you don't have any monitors because you don't have a budget. So you just got to hope it works. Put like a penny on the ground and stand next to it, that kind of thing, you know? Fucking, yeah, glorious. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Continue.
Oh, hey, he's gone.
There's Danny's back.
I would appreciate it greatly if we could get this bar filled up by the end of the show. Still got 2 more to go. So
as would I.
Yes, you would. I'm sure you would. So anyway, we carry on. They're now explaining the concept of future echoes. As of course they're now at light speed. Time slows down. It's Einstein's theory of relativity, that kind of thing. Basically, as you approach the speed of light, time slows down. When you break through it, you start seeing things that are going to happen before they've happened. Makes sense. So this is, by the way, a show with no budget, trying to do sci-fi with no budget on one set. They don't have the backing of the BBC that they'll have later yet, so they can't go to like Earth or another planet or film in a quarry. Like they don't even have the budget of Doctor Who.
Right.
With
all of its many quarries, yes.
Right. So they're confined to this spaceship for the entirety of series 1. Like I'm pretty sure there's not a single scene that's not on the ship in the first series. It's quite impressive that they managed to do such a variety of stories because they have to do something sci-fi with nowhere to go and no locations to film on.
That's what passion does. You don't have a lot, but you have the vision, you have the ideas, and you can do everything you want to with what you have. But take notes, you RTD asshole.
Yeah, no fucking point. No idea. No, this is the antithesis. This is one of the reasons why when people started saying you should do Red Dwarf, I was like, actually, fuck yes, because I started thinking about these series, these first 2, like how hard it is to review these because they're so old and they're not the show at its best. The show hasn't even begun to flex what it will be able to do. Like in the first 2 series, really, you get a taste of it in the second series, but you're not gonna see really Red Dwarf firing on all cylinders until series 5, series 6.
Right. Which
then it's crazy. Then it's like fucking asteroids and let's land on derelict ice moons and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
But go on.
I was gonna say it's in some ways it's kind of like this show, and you know, like all the many places we go, just based on conversations and things like that.
Sitting here in our rooms, across the planet, talking. Yeah, glorious. We fucking love it. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you to Groofus Grim for the 199. Says practical effects and raw ingenuity. Love it. Exactly. This guy fucking gets it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Always love practical effects more than pure CJ, by the way.
What do you call a deer with no eyes? Oh, come on. This is as old as the hills. No idea.
Yeah.
What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea.
Still no idea.
Okay, you're excused. You're a dad.
What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs, and it's and an axe sticking out of his belly? Still bloody no idea.
Right.
So anyway, there you go. So they're sitting there trying to comprehend what the fuck's going on with the future echoes. It's around this time they notice the Polaroid picture of Lister holding 2 babies. So then we get to the center. Oh, then the Scutters are here. They hand Lister a note that says, please don't go into stasis. Please don't leave us with Rimmer. Rimmer has decided that he doesn't want to be turned off when they go into stasis, because when they get back to Earth, he doesn't believe that Lister will actually turn him back on.
Yep.
So, and he's probably right, to be fair, because Lister hates Rimmer and Rimmer hates Lister. So yeah, he wouldn't do it. Anyway, a lot of this first series is about that balance of power. In fact, the next episode is literally called Balance of Power. So
yep.
Yeah. So what do you call a fish with no eyes?
That one I know.
I am loving these. Bring them on.
Indeed.
Bring them on, chat.
Yeah.
Super chat your shitty old jokes.
Yeah, the next episode is even a callback to that whole thing. Like, but we'll get into that after we finish this episode.
William Hestelow for 1 month says, can you imagine if Grant and Naylor wrote for New Who? I mean, well, first of all, the problem is you'd have to get Grant and Naylor back together because they broke up 20 years ago. Unfortunately, yeah, the only one who's been running Red Dwarf since like Series 7 is Naylor. Rob Grant buggered off a long time ago and never really explained why. But god damn, man, the two of them together were very, very funny. Naylor is still absolutely capable of running Red Dwarf by himself, and the show hasn't really dipped in quality. There's a little bit more gag humor. I feel like Grant was the one who kept it anchored a little bit more, but no, I think Naylor alone writing for Doctor Who would be like, maybe there's one person on Earth I believe could actually save the show, and it would be him. But you know what? Actually, fuck it. Yes, BBC, go and pitch fucking Doug Naylor with the concept of writing for Doctor Who, and in exchange, give him another series of Red Dwarf, please. That would be lovely. Thank you very much. I will personally thank you.
Yeah.
And I will
We could even do like a crossover.
Yeah. You could do a Christmas special where Lister and Rimmer meet the fucking Doctor. My God.
They crash into the TARDIS like the Titanic.
Yeah. Red Who.
Indeed.
Or Dr. Dwarf, yeah.
Dr. Dwarf. Yes.
Dwarf.
Something tells me that's not the title they'd be allowed to use. But, so anyway, the Scutters,
Dr. Little
Person. Yeah, exactly. The Scutters then start banging their heads on the corridors, like literally just smashing their heads off it.
I love this guy, by the way.
Yeah, and then something happens. Oh, there's an explosion. Lister runs down to the drive room. Rimmer starts laughing because he says he just saw Lister die. And
you could call it Time and Red Dwarf in Space.
Right. Yeah, you could do that.
TARDIS. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be good. Anyway, Rimmer's absolutely celebrating the fact that he just saw Lister die, because Lister was telling him earlier on to shut up about being dead already. It's been really boring and it's not the same handicap that it once was. So so now Rimmer is getting his snarky bastard vengeance on Lister by saying, well, I wouldn't say it was the fastest death ever. Well, you know, I think actually, you know, maybe it could have been faster. He's like, oh, so I get blown up then. Oh, bits of you do. You know, it's just like really horrible what he does, and just like mercilessly teasing Lister about the fact that he's going to die. Lister's absolutely fucking terrified. He asks Rimmer what was he wearing, and he tells him he's wearing exactly that outfit, basically. So he takes off his hat to say, okay, well, then I can't die if I'm not wearing my hat. And Rimmer says, and this is where you get some great fucking writing, because you get, please, it's already happened. And Lister's like, well, it hasn't happened though, has it? I mean, it has happened in the sense of it will have happened. It is going to will have happened. But it hasn't happened actually. And then Rimmer says bullshit, or poppycock, or whatever he says. He says, it will be going to happening. It will have, or could maybe will have been happening in the near future. And it's as simple as that. Yeah, I can't do it.
That was absolutely brilliant, because I felt like I was listening to my native language.
Exactly. It's that's actually kind of funny. That's some gallows humor, but yeah, true. Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to use prepositions properly in English. Certainly not. A lot of English people don't know how to do it, actually. But he does. He says it will be happening. Or it shall be going to have happened. Could will have been in the near future, or something. Like it's fucking mental playing with the prepositions here, and that's Naylor at his best. He writes like that all the time, and it's very funny. So there you go. Then Lister tries to work out if there's something he can do. Well, Rimmer hoists an imaginary coffin and starts going dun dun da dun dun da dun da dun da da. He works out that he saw the cat earlier. That was a future echo. How could he have broken his tooth? Figures out that it's because he's going to eat the robot goldfish. So the cat's there preening. I'm looking nice. Oh yeah, buddy. And he's like, I'm going to eat you, little fishy, because that's his little song. And then he gets it out, and then he starts playing with it because he's a cat. So he can't just eat his food. He gets it out.
He has to torture it first.
I have to pretend that it escaped and catch it and then throw it around. Oh yeah, like that. So yes, that's hilarious. So he's going to eat the fish, and right as he's about to eat it, Lister runs in, smashes into the cat, smashes his head into the panel there beneath the fish tank, and gets the fish and goes, "Yay, I've done it! I'm not gonna die! I'm not gonna die!" And then the cat starts yelling at him, "You stupid monkey! La 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 la!"
My tooth.
And then he realizes Lister has made him break his tooth. So the self-fulfilling prophecy happens. Rimmer walks in with a nice big smile and gives an internal memo. Dear David Lister, condolences on your recent passing. What's that poem? Now, weary traveler, rest your head, for just like me, you're utterly dead. So Lister starts pounding whiskey, puts his hat on, rips a pipe off the wall, and declares that he's going to rip the nipples off of death if it comes near him.
Yep.
It's funny because in Series 8, that thing I was alluding to earlier, where everyone dies except Rimmer, the only reason that Rimmer doesn't die in that is because he kicks Death in the balls and runs away. He goes, "Not today, matey," and knees him in the bollocks and runs away. And Death's left standing going, "That's never happened before."
Oh, that's so Pratchett.
Right. So Lister is there. We get this dramatic scene. I still want people to watch it. Rimmer's there with this big smile on his face, fingers in his ears, waiting for Lister to get blown to hell. Lister starts turning down the switches. He's screaming. And then finally he turns off the last switch. And it turns out he's not going to die. Nothing happened. It's okay. He survived, only to be mauled by the cat, who is trying to pretend he's a dog, apparently. It says dog attack as he does it. So I don't know what that means. So there we go. It works out later that the future echoes are getting further and further into the future.
Yep.
As they continue to accelerate, and Holly is still unable to slow it down. So finally we get to this, where there is old Lister, who is 180 or something crazy like
170 or something like that. Yeah, somewhere around there.
170. It's at least that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, "Okay, so I know you're there because when I was your age, I saw you seeing me, and now I'm going to tell you, and you're going to have to remember what I'm going to tell you, so that you can tell yourself when you get to be me." And again, it's that kind of fucking hilariously convoluted language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turns out his advice is basically, and also I love the fact that he's still got his dreads and somehow they're like a mile long now.
Right.
This is hilarious. So there you go. He's got a robot hand, by the way, which is interesting because there is an episode where Lister gets his arm cut off. And I thought for a while that they were going to set that up to be his robot hand, but then the arm gets regenerated later anyway. So I think he uses the robot hand to open the beer. So he's sitting there drinking a beer. And he basically tells him, "You got to go. It wasn't you that died. Rimmer didn't see you die. He saw your son die."
Yep.
Bexley, because Lister wants to name his sons Jim and Bexley after his favorite sports dickhead from Zero G football, which is apparently a 23rd century sport.
Jim Bexley.
Yeah, Jim Bexley Speed is his name. So whatever, I guess. Meanwhile, Rimmer just keeps going on about what happens to me, old man? What happens to me? And Lister's able to get his final revenge on Rimmer. By telling Lister he's got to grab a camera, he's got to go down to the medibay because he's about to see a future echo, and he's got to take a photo of it so that they can have the photo that they saw earlier on of him with his two boys. Meanwhile, he Rimmer says, if I tell you now, you can remember, and then when you get to be him, you can tell me what happens to me. So the old man Lister is like, Rimmer, come here. Rimmer, come here. Like that. You wanted to know what happens to you? He's like, yes, tell me. Come closer. Come closer. And then he just burps in his face, laughs, and disappears. So he goes, you goit. He goes, and then he goes, no, you goit. And he points at Lister, and he goes, you're all goits. Holly, you're a goit. And he goes, I'm a what? You heard. So when Rimmer arrives to catch up with Lister, he's now got a Beatles haircut. So there you go. Lister's trying to work out, and he says the immortal line. And anyone who hasn't seen this show, all right, before, remember this line because it's going to come up later. Lister says, or Rimmer says, how are you going to get 2 sons without a woman on board? And Lister says, I don't know, but it's going to be a laugh finding out.
Right.
Just remember that, because later in series 2, Rimmer will remind him of that. So don't forget that. As promised, the future Echo walks through the door, and the door actually opens for him, which I thought was weird. He goes, I know you can see me. I can't see you, but you can see me. These are your boys, Jim, Bexley. Stop crying and say cheese. And as the credits roll, the Polaroid that they still have in the year 2022, whatever it is,
still exists,
or whatever the camera was created anyway, still apparently exists. Yeah. So there you go. That's Future Echoes. What did you guys think?
Oh, dude, this is great. And also, seeing the later episodes, they actually, do quite a bit of setup for payoffs that come later on and things like that. Like, like just the dynamics of the show, like shows the capability of the writing. Like, this is what happens when you actually write out your scripts and your stories before you actually start filming them. It's pretty great.
Exactly.
I actually think that the show does very well, and that's something that every show, no matter if it's sci-fi, if it's just fantasy, if it's just something supernatural, something like that, time travel episodes are very tricky. Like, we exclude Doctor Who because Doctor Who is built around time travel, and it can do whatever it wants. But every show that is a sci-fi show, is a fantasy show, whatever, when you do a time travel episodes, they're very tricky, and a lot of arguably very good shows fail at that. I watched that, and it was done very well. Like the Future Echo stuff, very well done. It like the especially the choreography, the thing that's happening. You have to be here, you have to be there. The part of the breaking of the cat's tooth was very, very well thought of.
Yeah. Prior to watching these last night, we actually watched Back to the Future Part 1 and 2, and then it got late, and I was like, all right, as much as I'd like to watch Back to the Future 3 and do the whole trilogy in one day, I was like, I gotta go hang out at Will's and wait for people to show up. So we'll probably be doing that.
I haven't done the last time I did the whole trilogy in a day was the day October 12th or whatever it is, November something 2015. That was literally the day everyone did that. That was the last time. But actually, I'm just in the process of showing my niece Back to the Future. We've just done the first 2. We've got to do the third one soon. Yeah. Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. And it is. I just love it so very much.
Yeah, no, I think I like the second one best just because it plays with all the choreography and kind of like the overlapping and just.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I love the second one too. I think the second one was the first. No, actually, the first movie I ever saw in the cinema was Back to the Future 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see it again until I was in my teens. But when I was a kid, I ended up recording Back to the Future 2 at my granddad's house, like on a VHS tape. And then I eventually got hold of Back to the Future 1 and watched it. One's my favorite. One's the purest concept.
Yeah. I think Back to the Future holds a little bit more for me too, because it was one of the first movies I saw in the theater. Like, I think the first movie I was actually at for a theater showing was Return of the Jedi, which I barely even remember much more other than that I saw.
Yeah, you're
moments of it.
that few years older than I am. So you can go see it. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
was not even alive when Return of the Jedi came out.
but yeah,
Anyway.
seeing Back to the Future 2 in the theater when I was, I think, Jesus Christ, I wasn't even like 10 years old yet. I don't think.
No, you wouldn't be. No, you'd have been about 6 or 7, I guess.
But yeah, no, it was that was quite an experience. Yeah, that whole opening sequence where they're going.
And we're all still waiting for our hoverboards. Yes, no.
Right.
Still.
You
waiting.
remember that ad? With,
I mean, they did actually develop them. It just turned out to be extremely inconvenient to use.
Yeah, and then expensive because you have to have like a specialized room for them, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't really do them like the public, because I think there was an actual scientific skit. I think it was.
I mean, in 2015, I remember everyone was trying to develop a hoverboard.
Yeah,
just
they were trying to develop them.
Yeah, they did come up with some self-lacing shoes, but they're not quite the same thing. But
yeah,
A for effort.
Yeah. Still, don't let me forget. We still got to watch MagesGuild's clip. I don't know if MagesGuild, are you still here? I don't know. He might have fallen asleep. But anyway, there we go. All right. I guess we should get on with episode 3 then. Although it is actually 2 hours already. But fuck it. No, we've got to do it. Everything takes longer than I think it's going to take.
Now,
story
since I did make the comment earlier, that's what we could start calling these Sunday shows, though, is WTF TARDIS, time in Red Dwarf in space. Because it's going to take, it's going to take like a good 6 or 7 months to get to all these seasons, depending on how many we do.
No, we're going to be doing this for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, we can't do more than 2 episodes in a night. So until we get down, anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, it's still early days too, because there's still an awful lot of world building going on in the early episodes. It'll be a little bit easier later when the characters are firmly established and we know exactly what they would do in any situation and stuff. Anyway, let me just get the folder open here that has.
Yep, MagesGuild is still here. He says.
Yay! Good. Where the fuck?
And B-Man's here now too.
Hello. B-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, DI has turned on.
Yeah, baby. Hold on, I'll get the episode up. Blah blah. 1, 3. Okay. And present. All right. So here we are. Episode 3 is called Balance of Power. Now this is a less sci-fi-ish one, really. It's more of a character study about Rimmer and Lister and the actual ramifications of what's happened to them, and how they're going to continue to go on, and how their relationship is going to work, and if it can work, and it can't. By the way, spoiler.
And it goes and gives you the setup for this show by commenting on the previous episode that you missed in the when Holly's doing the thing right at the start, which seems to be which is nice because you can just kind of get into this, and even if you haven't necessarily seen the preceding episode, you at least kind of know where you're at for the overarching kind of dynamics of where it takes place.
Exactly. So we're here in the drive room, and Rimmer is making stock that they have apparently in the cargo or something, and he keeps saying 4,000 chickens, 681,000 eggs, and then I think at the end he says 4,691 irradiated haggis, and Lister complains, and then Rimmer says it again. He says 4,681 irradiated haggis. Lister's like, Rimmer, I want to go out. It's Saturday night. I'm bored. I want to go out. 4,691 irradiated haggis. And so they get into this fight. He's like, oh, this is fun. What are you talking about? Rimmer, he's like, well, you say something and I write it down and say, check. That's not fun, Rimmer. And Rimmer just gets more and more annoyed with him until eventually Lister just tells him to go fuck himself, basically. It says he's going to go for a drink in the bar. But then there's this little dispute about Lister's cigarettes.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that Rimmer, being the second technician, still technically outranking Lister, is the highest ranking officer on the ship.
Yeah.
Which is what he's wanted, right? He's in charge, except that it's not what he wants, because Rimmer wants to have the badges and the shit to show for it.
Right.
So thank you, William. Have a nice time. So he's pissed off. He's still got the impotent rage of a man who knows that he's never achieved his dreams and now never will because he's dead.
Yep.
And yet at the same time, he's also torturing Lister because of the fact that he outranks him. And that matters so much to Rimmer.
Yeah. It's just like the one way that he can kind of have some measure of prestige and, like, you know, the closest thing that he can achieve to a victory is just holding it over his head.
I might be a piece of shit, but I'm a slightly fresher piece of shit than you.
Right, right.
You know? So he's torturing Lister, and he's doing it by having like the scutters and things working for him. So he's managed to hide all of the ship's stock of cigarettes. Right.
Yep.
So Lister doesn't have any cigarettes, and the only way he can get cigarettes is to do what Lister tells him to. And apparently he gets 1 cigarette for every day that he obeys Rimmer. So this is fucking like General Patton level kind of fucking. No, this is some merciless shit, you know. So, then Lister. Then it turns out that he earlier on before the episode started, he was doing a bunch of silly voices when he was saying check. So Rimmer's decided that he's going to dock Lister a quarter of a cigarette.
Yep.
And now you're really getting a picture of who this fucker is. Right? How small-minded this motherfucker is, right? Like a quarter of a fucking cigarette. Just flexing that power. You know what I mean, guys?
Mm-hmm. He's
Like
a community manager.
Have you ever known anyone like this?
I've met real life.
Exactly. I've met people like that. I've worked under people like this.
Yep. Yeah.
People just didn't like me and lauded their fucking tiny
meddling middle managers.
Yeah. That's the thing, because Rimmer
that's
wants
the name
to
of
be,
their cocks as well.
Oh, absolutely. Rimmer wants to be an officer, but he's absolutely not the kind of person who should be.
Right.
The officers don't behave like this. You know, you don't become an officer by micromanaging every single fucking tiny little thing. A job's worth, exactly, Noel Kerins. You get it, yeah. That's
And
a
that's
British
why they're
thing.
superior
We have
officers
these
in the
people, we
first
call them-
episode.
Exactly. We call them jobs worths. And it's because it's more than my job's worth. Right?
Yeah.
So people who relentlessly enforce the rules and never let you cut any fucking corners and turn out to be merciless bastards who torture people for fun, basically.
Yep. Last person I had to deal with like that was right before I got back into doing this stuff. I was just working at a local, grill, sandwich grill, like fillet place. And the guy that was the original manager there, he was relaxed, cool, laid back. Everything was all well and good. And then he left, and the guy who replaced him spent 6 to 8 weeks getting management training by corporate. And yeah, and he and he came in, he showed up, and I was like, look, dude, clearly this is not going to be a thing. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just give you my 2 weeks notice. And he was heading out. He was heading out to do a catering job, and as soon as he got back, he's like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're fired." It's like, "Oh, cool, thanks. Now I can get unemployment insurance." But within I think a year's time of him taking over that store, he managed it directly into the ground, and it's closed down now. So yeah.
That's what usually happens.
Yep. So
I think Will
might be frozen.
Stasis. Yeah, he's in stasis.
Yes.
My internet is going offline intermittently.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, you're back now, so hopefully it holds.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, sorry about that, folks.
These things happen.
I hope it holds. If it does it again, we may have to
pitch it early.
Yeah. But we'll try and get through this anyway. So as you can see in the scene here, Lister is literally being made to empty out some of the part of his cigarette. Literally just take out
the flaky bits.
Flaky bits, yeah, the nicotine, yeah, the tobacco. MagesGuild points out here for $2, BBC producers almost all act like this. Can confirm. I have worked for some BBC people, and they are like this. Yeah, they're clipboard warriors. They're fucking embarrassing.
Indeed.
Thank you, MagesGuild. Continue all the bar guys. We'd like to get some boobies tonight.
Indeed. I am the Gooner Squad General.
Plus, at this point, every single fucking penny goes to replenishing the savings account that I will no longer have in about a week's time when my daughter gets out of hospital. So, help, please. Anyway,
diaper money.
There it is. It is. It's all diaper money now, except now it's not. It's oxygen money.
Right.
So there you go. Blood for the Chud gods. Come on. All right. Anyway, so yeah, Lister is about at his wit's end with Rimmer in this episode. It's about as bad as it ever really gets between the two of them, to be honest. Like they hate each other, and that is that's the status, status quo. But this is the episode that's kind of all about how much they hate each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think he stasised again. Oh no. Well, this is an unfortunate turn of events. Are you back with us, Will? There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. Well, I'm starting to wonder if this is worth it.
Yeah.
We'll keep trying. All right, we'll keep trying. Fuck it.
All right. Yeah.
Anyway, I like that they added the bike because it's supposed to be a spaceship the size of a city.
Right. And it helps kind of infer, like, longer spans of distance between these parts of the ship that we see time and time again.
Oh, disgusting for Belgian Ted and for the princess, you beautiful man. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
It's only appropriate. I was meaning to do that ever since you brought up the news.
Oh, that's so nice, though. I appreciate it. Even though you're on the panel, that's much appreciated, buddy.
Now we stop. Let's try twisting.
It's funny how different they look. Her mom.
You look like you're in hell on that clip. You're like, what? What am I doing?
It's called acting,
Yeah,
It's called acting. But yeah, I mean, it's like the least cool thing I could possibly be doing. So it's like,
actually, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're basically raising a child.
Yeah.
There we go.
Full on dad mode. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. And don't worry, MagesGuild. The bar fills itself for super chats no matter what. It does the currency
translation. But yeah.
We're closing today.
Oh, look at that. There we go. Whenever Will gets back, hopefully, at least, if nothing else, because I think we might have to call this when he gets back. But at least we can maybe end with some boobas. Yeah.
I think we will be ending with, and also the bar doesn't count memberships.
Right. So Will might have manually adjusted those. Hopefully, he does get back to us soon. But he might. Yeah, I think we might want to add this in and pack it in. We'll have to start with 3 and 4 next week.
We'll have to do 3, 4, 5, and 6 next week. No, we won't. We'll have to just do 3 and 4. Fuck it.
The gods of RadART would now be able to chime in next week.
We'll have to not go on massive anti-gay tirades like we did earlier.
I mean, will it really be a show though if we don't spend an hour just sitting here shooting the shit?
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be this show if we didn't waste an hour talking about whatever the fuck we feel like.
That's right.
Yeah, it's good. I can't rely on the internet tonight. I saw the guys working on the power lines again. I'm afraid they might knock something out fucking completely in a few minutes. So let's wrap this up quickly. But before that, Noel Kerins, 20 euros. You fucking legend.
I got this new anime plot. Basically, there's this high school girl, except she's got huge boobs. I mean, some serious hunkers. A real set of badonkers. Packing some Doban hunkeros. Massive da hunka bankaloos. Big old Tanhangera cougars. What happens next? Transfer student shows up one day with even bigger bunk hanaga hoogs. Humongous hungalamga no logangas.
Yeah!
Yeah!
And really happy times for John, as long as my internet holds, we can do it. We can do it.
Indeed.
Guys.
I believe we can achieve.
And beer and titties. Let's go.
Come here, baby. Let me show something good. Something good. Something good. Something
No, damn it. I've been booby trapped again, and now Will is like probably locked up on the internet.
That was almost a fucking disaster.
I know. It's like, well, this is hanging a little bit longer than usual. All right, I'll just roll with it.
The exact second that the clip ended, my internet cut again. This is not sustainable, fellas. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to wrap it up and go. But T-Jab Steve, absolute legend, long time supporter of the channel, long time mod, much loved and respected colleague, and big fan of both Princesses of the Fans for 20 Will of the Fans memberships. You fucking legend. Big love, bro. Big love.
Show them what you do.
Amazing. I hope this works out, but not. Man, I got the best fucking audience in the world.
Indeed. Quality audience will always be better than a quantity audience.
Yeah, it really is true. It's true. I got lovely people who support this channel, and I almost don't want to get that much bigger. You know, sometimes I think it'd be nice if this channel just sort of capped off at like 25, maybe.
Yeah,
1,000.
Something manageable. Yeah,
and then just sort of have like a few quality folks who show up every week. Just fine, great, lovely, very manageable. All right, I'm afraid that we're gonna have to call it because my fucking internet is totally unreliable at the moment, as you've obviously noticed. So roll on with outros. If anything happens to me, we'll deal with that as it comes. All right, starting with Helzo. What's going on with you, buddy?
Not much. As I said, I was streaming, making videos, trying to make more videos, more streams, basically grow. Just doing what has to be done in order to go on and make the channel permanent and maybe main source in the near future. Just grinding, playing games, talking about games, you know, the usual. What's going on with me? What's coming on? I might, however, be going on a vacation not next week, but the week afterwards. So it's gonna be probably a full-on just disconnect from online stuff because I really need to catch some sun. I love going to the seaside. I love going to pools and stuff like that. So the next time you might see me, depending on how things go, I might be a few shades darker, and you might not accept me on the show.
Oh yeah. But actually, we'll get some DEI points that way, so it might be all right.
Oh yeah, you might. Okay, I'll learn the accent.
But I'm pretty dark. There's definitely a noticeable tone change when my sleeve gets rolled up.
Yeah,
you can't tell because of the fucking ring light, but I'm pretty brown when I'm not being lit immediately in the face.
Right.
I've been in Asia, Southeast Asia for fucking 8 years. What? I'm not white anymore. Anyway, that's cool, man. You have yourself a nice little break, and that's cool. I've been sort of thinking lately, like if everyone's on vacation, it's a perfect time for me to make a comeback. If only I didn't have to keep going to hospital every day for probably another week at least.
Right. We're dealing with intermittent internet
apparently,
situations.
yeah. Fucking PLDT. Anyway, John, what's up?
Not too much. Of course, I'm here with you throughout the week, same time on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Then later today, I'll be hanging out with Toasty as we do. We'll be having nice, chill, relaxed. We've kind of switched gears a little bit, and we're just like, instead of having to have people complain, it's kind of like with the Rush news. We just simply eliminated it. And so people are like, you guys never get through a video. You take too long. It's like, all right, what if we just don't do videos anymore? We just start having just a hangout party session. We're just kind of kick back for 3 hours. And if we hit the goal, then we'll do an extension on Rumble where we just take music requests from people. So it's $1 for a song, of course, do $5 more. You get all the other wonderful stuff. So yeah, and we do that 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And then otherwise on the weekends, you're not the only person having tech issues. Brian got a new PC, and yesterday we tried to do the weekend culture, but we were unsuccessful because every time he went to turn his camera on, his computer reset within 2 minutes. So we struggled with it for about 20-30 minutes, and it was just like, all right, it's not happening today. So, but thankfully, hopefully he will get all that restored for next week's show, and we do those at 11 a.m. Eastern, in Pacific on Saturday mornings. And other than that, you can see me on the Old White Road. And enjoy it while it lasts, in terms of me being a regular, because we're starting to get so many new people there that I said, Ryan, I think that, in wrestling, the big stars, they go off to Hollywood, and then the people that are just kind of there end up becoming, producers or road agents, and I'm already a producer. So
mid-card is tomorrow's main event.
Right. And so I'm kind of moving more into the road agent position where I want to bring more people in where they don't have to deal with me as a constant presence. And so I will probably be stepping back from doing the weekly shows, and then just show up maybe once or twice a month, when necessary and things like that.
Sustainable. Then
yeah. And that's the thing. And I said to him, I was like, you end up coming on the Toasty shows generally on those Fridays anyway. So maybe you and I spending 8 hours together on any given day is probably not the best for either of us. So, but yeah. Other than that, though, always wonderful spending time here. White Time friends, everybody in the chat is fucking awesome, and the best definition of a quality audience. And, just having a blast with you guys is always great. So with that said, safe travels ahead. Have a wonderful week going forward. Be awesome as always.
Fantastic. Thank you, man. And also, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I totally lost my connection halfway through that. And managed to come back.
It's a good thing for me being long-winded.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I guess so, actually. Yeah. But there you go. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching this. I'm sorry we haven't, once again, we only did one episode. Maybe we're just going to have to slow this whole fucker down. Or just do nothing but review Red Dwarf at all. No other news. We can't even squeeze it in. But we'll see.
We'll figure it out. We'll sort it out.
In the meantime, yeah, you know the drill. At the moment, my baby's in the NICU, neonatal ICU, with a respiratory infection, neonatal pneumonia. Doing very well, recovering, outpacing doctors' expectations. That's great. Every time they tell me something might take 4 days, it takes 1.5.
Nice.
So that's great. With that reckoning, I might be able to get her out of there by the end of this week, which would be great because that's about as much money as I have left to pay for it.
Right.
So there we go. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you. I don't know when this is going to kick out, so I'm going to try and make this quick, wrap it up, and get out of here. I'll be streaming bits and bobs as and when I can and making videos. Hyperdrive time at some point. Can't promise anything, but when I'm around, I will tell you. I'll send you links. I'll do all the stuff I normally do, DM you, whatever, and I'll get it done. But we got to wrap this fucker up. Appreciate you all for the super chats and other donations. Mages Guild, Garrett Griffin, Mages Guild, Garrett Griffin, Mages Guild, T-Jab Steve, Mages Guild, Garrett Griffin, DramaticaLaur, T-Jab Steve, St. Hugo, James Alt, Mages Guild, William Hestelow, Mages Guild, Sardoc Spamfish, Hestelow a bunch more times with the gifted memberships, Mages Guild again, Griffiths Grim, Sardoc Spamfish, disgusting, thank you, sir, Noel Kerins, and T-Jab Steve at the end there with the 20 off the top rope, and of course 20 euros from Noel. Thank you so much, love you all, appreciate you all. I'll definitely hold up my end of this fucking deal one day. And till then, I'll catch you later. We'll have to play the outdated credits because I couldn't upload them earlier on, the new ones. But I'll get all this shit sorted out just as soon as I can. We're gonna run out now, and I'll catch you afterwards, guys. Don't wait for me after the stream. I'll just dip.
Yep.
All right. Because I don't know when my internet's going to cut. So take care, everybody. Big love. Appreciate you. See you Tuesday, if not before. Ta-ta now. Bye-bye.
Later, all.
Cheers, guys.